this is how the conversation went. He's like, he goes, "Oh, you Jared?" And I said, "Hey, what's going on, man?" You know. He goes, "Oh," he's like, "Sorry, are you in bed yet?" You know. And I'm like, "No," I said, I'm in a tree stand. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know. I said, "Yeah, I just shot your buck." Oh my goodness. The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Predator Camo.
Man, this one feels good, right? I know people have been looking at this picture over your shoulder for a while now. I think that was 2018, but we just, over the last, how many years, keep coming back to Predator Camo because it's been so damn good for us.
No doubt. I think we bought our first set off of Jen at the Archer Trade Show almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Jen's still with the company, and the patterns have, only improved since then. They actually were recently acquired within the past couple of years. We've had a chance this past year to go and meet with new ownership, talk about redesigning a lot of the old lines, plans for new patterns, all of the above. So really excited about what's to come, not only this coming year, but in years to come. There's a lot of good stuff coming from Predator.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it's always been going back to that breakup pattern, right? That's the historic look, whether you're talking about the spring greens or brown deceptions or fall grays. Yeah. I mean, that breakup is really what's been so powerful for us in a tree stand. And right now, they're letting anyone use the code HUNTR on the Predator Camo website and get 20% off any of the lines, including all the new stuff that dropped here in July.
Be the Predator.
And we're back.
Ayo.
HUNTR Podcast, episode 275.
That was just me trying to we got a lot to get through. I got to try to pace myself as we get through this.
Yeah, it's, well, first of all, we're back in office, in the studio, so that's nice. But yeah, man, it's been a freaking whirlwind. So before we get going, you do your thing.
Hey. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you listening. Whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, those are the three main platforms that we drop these episodes on, and we do that every Tuesday and Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you give us a like, follow, or subscribe, first of all, we really appreciate that. Second of all, it should give you some sort of a notification, a dinger, whenever that happens. We've got some merch on our website, the We Are HUNTR website. A couple new things on there that I think are pretty cool. We're always working on more, and so hopefully have some more throughout the season here. You can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, on any of our partners' websites for a discount of some sort. There's some really good ones out there, so check those out. Most notably, as of recently, and it is a big discount, I think 20% off of our Predator stuff.
Our Predator.
Code HUNTR will get you that. I've been really, really digging that stuff so far, through the early season here. It's
Spring green early, about to transition into some brown deception and fall brown.
I've gotten a lot of compliments about that spring green especially.
I wore that Vapor Light hoodie almost exclusively the entire elk hunt, and it was awesome.
Yep. I think we need to push them on a long sleeve for that, just a crew.
A long sleeve crew?
A crew, and maybe not a pant with something like that. We'll have to get a little R&D on that with those guys.
The only thing I needed is because it rained so much on me, and maybe a light soft shell type jacket or something because the other jacket.
But the Alpine.
It's a little bit too heavy for I was hunting in 75-degree weather.
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s is perfect, but honestly, it got up to 83 a couple days. So I had to just keep, and it was fine. I wasn't cold, but I was just wet.
Yeah. Personally, I don't know what you do. I don't have rain gear like that.
Yeah, I didn't
for that heat too. I mean, I've got rain gear, but not.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. So something like that might be good. But other than that, I mean, it was the nice thing was if it stopped raining, that thing dried out in 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
and I was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so that was great. Spring green was great.
Very cool. And other than that.
Oh, here we go.
I'll bring it home. Here we go.
There we go. It is. I forgot my watch. It's over there. It's charging. September 30th. It's my anniversary.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
What do you? Let me guess.
Watch 14? What you say. 16. 16 years.
Yeah. Right on. Well, I had to check. I was remembering. I'm 9.
Yep. 16.
9 in. So yeah.
16
congrats, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty mellow once you have kids our age and 16 years. We usually we did a couple cool trips for some of the big milestones, and we'll do another one here soon. But yeah, pretty mellow day.
We got our 10-year coming up too. Speaking of big milestones.
Yeah, you got it. The 10 and the 15s are pretty big. The other ones, I'm You appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
You're like, you got everything you want? You do everything you do want to do?
good.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Steve, actually, I'll bring this over. He printed the picture I took of her, like taking a dirt nap, like when she did her big race and stuff.
Dirt nap?
Did you ever see
Oh,
that
just
picture?
laid down on it. Okay.
Yeah. And so he like made me one of those to give her. So
I'm used to that, like in the context of like you shot a deer and
she
they're
wasn't
piling
dead.
up.
It's kind of the same. She looked like
Just
she
gave
died.
my wife a wicked dirt nap.
Yeah, it looked like she
Should
died.
have seen her.
Yeah. She passed out for 15 minutes on the trail. So dirt nap.
That's funny.
Anyways, boy, I can't say it's like the first week because you obviously had North Dakota, but like we are wrapping up September with a bang basically here.
What do you think is feasible to try to get through today?
Well, I mean, I talked a lot about my elk hunt,
Which I'm seeing for the first time in person here. He looks awesome. But, not that, not to belittle what I thought of him, but he looks better in person than of the pictures. Because you were, your pictures obviously were you setting up a phone.
It was me,
you were by yourself.
I was balancing it on my pack and like, hey, just on a timer standpoint.
He's a stud, man.
And I mean, it's sitting on an 800-pound animal. Like
that'll do it too.
Yeah. So
that's super cool. I don't blame you for getting a shoulder mount on him.
Oh, dude, he's going centerpiece at the Kentucky cabin, like Kentucky elk in the Kentucky cabin. Like
that's cool. Are you having Trav do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Which he like just got service in Wyoming like 2 days later, and he's like, oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got everything, and so yeah, I would say maybe we'll highlight a couple things because I know I drug a few things into this pod from the Hunt Companion. If you really want to listen to like the details of everything, the Hunt Companion is probably covering that. Mm-hmm. But I had obviously since then I've had a lot of questions about it, so like I guess wanted to clarify a few things just so that people understood it is. So first off, no, I did not draw this tag in Kentucky. There's a lot of people that said, hey, did you draw the tag? I put in every year, every year since I started hunting Kentucky, which was, 10 or 12 years ago. So I put in every year. I did not draw the tag. I was not gifted the tag either because there was people that have seen other people, Steve Ranella, most notably, Trump Jr. did it. Kirk Price did it. They were gifted a tag from a landowner, one of these big landowner companies. And really it's one in particular, I'm not going to spot burn it, but there's one in particular that tends to give out to high profile people to come and elk hunt.
Nick Mont and
Nick may have been as well.
Who's the Pat Nicole? So Pat Nicole used to do that too.
So I was not gifted one either. I bought it.
Probably missing some, but
I paid for it.
Yeah.
And so, if you want the full details, you can PM me, but we're always pretty transparent on it. So I, typically these are auctioning, let me back up. The way that they get the tag is they turn the surface rights over to Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife as a public wildlife management area. So if you're in Pennsylvania, that's game lands. If you're in some of these other ones, it's wildlife management area, but it's public land. They say, hey, we're opening this up to public land. People can come deer hunt it. They can turkey hunt it. They can do whatever. If you drew a tag in the unit, you can elk hunt it. In exchange for that, they're given one elk tag per 5,000 acres that they put into public land. So the property I hunt, and it's public knowledge now, you can look it up. I hunted a property called Boone Forest Lands WMA, owned by Boone Forest Lands. And they had 6 elk tags that they were given, and they auctioned 6 of them off. I did not bid on the auction. The auction was over, and I went back and I saw that they still had 5 of the 6 tags available, and so I made them an offer. And if you really want to know, you can DM me and I'll tell you what it was. But I will say that the price was similar to what it would cost me to go hunt out west.
It's not an ungodly amount of money. It's less than that.
Is it? I don't know. I've never hunted out west, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I basically put a number out there thinking they didn't sell them. I don't know what they're going to do with them. Like maybe they'll take this number. We were sitting at the podcast table. It was like 2 days later. I'm like, holy shit, they took my offer.
Right.
So that's how I got my tag. The nice part about it is that tag is good for every elk season in Kentucky, meaning archery either sex, bull week 1, bull week 2, cow week 1, cow week 2, late season. Whereas if you draw, your tag is good for a specific unit for one of those specific seasons. The downfall of my tag is I'm not even in a specific unit. I'm specific to only Boone Forest Lands WMA, which sounds like a lot because you're like, well, you have 30,000 acres to hunt, Jeremy. But when you realize how the public land is divided in eastern Kentucky, it becomes really tough because there's either small blocks. I shot him on a block that was just over 100 acres, or it's like intermixed with other WMAs and mainly Daniel Boone National Forest, and I can't hunt those with the tag. So if you had a unit tag, you could go and hunt all of that public. My tag, I was stuck within the borders of Boone Forest Lands WMA. So initially, I looked at it as I thought I struck gold, right? I thought I bought this tag. I can hunt all of the elk seasons. And like that in itself is a huge advantage. In reality, as it started to set in that, number one, everybody else that drew a tag in those units could also hunt those properties. Mm-hmm. All the four-wheeler traffic, that's just people riding and doing whatever they want to do, even though they're not supposed to. It is illegal. Still doing it. And the way that the property line set up made it difficult. In fact, the first two bugles I heard, which was morning number 1 and evening number 2, were not that far from me, but were off property. So I couldn't chase them at all. Like they were on public land. Well, one of them was on public land that anybody could have went up and chased after. I couldn't because I was stuck within my boundaries. So that, just so people can kind of put their heads wrapped around like how the tag works and where the advantages and limitations were. But essentially I was hunting land that anybody else could have hunted, that had a tag. And I think those right there were probably where I started to put myself in check, probably in the last couple podcasts we even did, of like, boy, this is going to be harder than I thought. And I had spent one day scouting those areas. I talked to as many people that would talk to me that had knowledge in those areas. And ultimately, in a way, super proud, is I came back to an area that I found on the map by myself and had scouted and killed them. And so people have asked, they're like, well, why'd you pick that spot? I picked the spot for two things. One, I thought it was super secluded. I think we talked about this on the podcast where when I scouted it, I hiked in like 4 miles through the woods, like up through these trails. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that there was like this new well road that got put like right through the middle of it. Mm-hmm. So at first I thought it was super secluded, and I already put the camera out when I found that road and stuff. But it was the only place that I got elk on camera. I didn't get elk on, like I said, one camera got eaten by a bear pretty quickly. The other one, I never got an elk on it, which was crazy because it seemed like I had rubs on autumn olives all over the place there. I thought for sure there was a bull in that area. I'm sure there was. He never walked in front of that camera. So this was the only place I got elk on camera. I got a 3x4 that was probably a 2-year-old. That was the first elk I got on camera. I got some cows and calves on camera. On September 10th, I got a 6x7 on camera. Never saw him again. And I think I saw that same 3x4 on camera one more time. But the last week going into the hunt, I did not see any elk on camera, not even a cow on camera. But ultimately, it was the fresh sign that set it off for me. Obviously I'd heard bulls from that area. I just couldn't chase them because it was on the small property. But there was like an old 4-wheeler trail that came down to where the spot I had picked out. I'm like, if I'm going to kill him, I got to kill him here. I saw an autumn olive that was tore up, and I saw fresh bull tracks between the evening hunt and the morning I hunted. I killed him later that afternoon, but that morning. So I knew sometime in the middle of the night, a bull had come through there. Obviously that's why I went back and hunted him on Wednesday evening. The weather cleared out. It finally stopped raining. In hindsight, I was in the right place at the right time. I don't know. I think we talked about it, but so when I went in there, I went in at like 4:15, almost 4:30. Like I got in there later than I normally would. And as I was walking in this like old trail, there was a couple four-wheelers that were coming up the gravel road. And I always parked a mile down the road because I had elk cross. I heard them and I saw a cow cross that gravel road right there. Like there's a big bull on one side and they would come up and then they would go to this other side. So I always parked way out of way so that my truck wasn't there in case they crossed. Well, these four-wheelers stopped there and I had stopped for like 5 or 7 minutes, like waiting. If they were going to come up by me, I wanted them to see me. Either maybe they turn around, or if they blow out the area, then I'm leaving. They ended up going up the road to my truck. At that point, I proceeded into my spot. When I got into that spot, I was in there for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and I heard meow. And that was right behind me, 50, 60 yards or less. But it was so thick, I couldn't see anything. Called at it, nothing. Minute or two later, meow. Same place, like it's there. In my head, I'm almost wondering, like, is it a guy? Like, does somebody see me and they're trying to get my attention? Like, I don't know. Called at it again, nothing. And then like that was in the next minute or two, I heard murr, murr, and look on the hill and like, here comes this guy like down the hill. And so being able to reflect on that and even talk through it on the Hunt Companion, I think that when I stopped as those four-wheelers came up, the cow came off the hill and went past my spot. My dumbass waddled in there. And we talked about the wind. Wind was always in my favor. Every hunt that I did, wind was in my favor. I waddled in there, and I got between him and the cow, and that was it. That's all she wrote. And so, yes, from a sign standpoint, like I was in the right place. This is where I was going to kill one. From a timing standpoint, a lot of right place, right time.
Yeah.
To get in between them. And not saying that I couldn't have called him in some other way, but the way that he came down and did the thing, he did exactly what I thought they would do and probably what she did minutes prior to me arriving there.
Do you think you could have probably got in there without her blowing out?
Yeah, absolutely. It was so thick. Like if I had,
I suppose in theory you could have been there earlier and it might have worked out, but just couldn't have been any later.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a time frame there of, if I would have walked in, do I get there before she gets there? Or if I'm getting there as she's getting there, then I screw it up.
Sure.
And there definitely were like this little field I was watching on. And it's one of the reasons I put the camera there originally is like there were elk beds in this little field, like giant elk beds there. So, I mean, there was no rubs and stuff when I was scouting back, September 3rd or 4th or something like that. So like, that plus some old tracks on the road was kind of what I was like, hey, there are elk here. Versus like the other place where I'm finding rubs and stuff. I'm like, there's a bull in here somewhere. So, or I found that giant track in that same area. There's a bull in here. I didn't see any of that type of stuff when I had set up and scouted that originally and put a camera up. And honestly, my camera was probably in the wrong spot. Like I caught that 1-2-year-old bull twice, I think, maybe 3 times. Caught that one big bull one time, which when I shot this bull, I thought it probably was him. In hindsight, it wasn't. So I never got a picture of this thing. But the way that they were using that property and using those habitat edges and stuff, my camera was just in the wrong spot. So on occasion, I would get them, but I guarantee they were all over that place. They just didn't walk in front of the camera. That's why you can't bank on the camera being your go all tell all.
That's right.
So yeah, that was kind of the big aha moment for me was like, there was a right place, right time factor for that. I think the other things that were like insanely impressed with my entire bow arrow setup, like to blow through that shoulder blade like it did. I
saw I don't know if that was in response to the Hunt Companion, but I noticed the comments every once in a while come in. I've seen a bunch of guys be like, I'm definitely shooting that was a great testimony for the beast, you know?
Yeah, and I kind
I don't know if that was just because of the pass-through through the shoulder blade.
Well, and I commented, I was like, obviously, I love Josh and David and those guys, and I think they make a really good broadhead. You know, that's why we're shooting it. Insanely impressed. I mean, in fact, I did a little video, and like the broadhead is perfect, like perfect. And the entrance and exit wounds are great. The blood was great. I mean, it did everything it was supposed to. The fact that I'm shooting 70 pounds, my arrow is built for penetration. I mean, I've got that 75 grain brass hit up front plus the 125 beast. Like I got a lot of weight up front. I mean, it's built, but I mean, that arrow was 4 yards past the bull laying in the brush. So, I mean, it was a wicked pass through on that thing. And yeah, just smoked through the shoulder blade.
That's awesome.
So,
and you looked in to confirm it went through the shoulder blade itself?
Yeah, because I pulled the shoulder blade. I pulled the whole shoulder out.
It's super impressive.
Yeah, so when I went and deboned everything back at the Airbnb, it's like, I mean, there's a hole right through the freaking shoulder blade, just like
interesting.
Like almost, you could see like kind of the oblong where the blades, but it just kind of shattered it through there.
I would love to know, and this is like maybe for more behind the scenes, we need to get with David and Josh and be like, I would love to know if the thing did not compress. Do you know what I mean? Like if you could just make me one for fun that doesn't compress.
And I assume they're doing that because they don't want the blades to break.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean they want to protect the integrity of the blades, but it's also, I mean, it's like solid steel. It's a German Lutz, you know, so it has a high level of durability.
I mean, dude, that blade was in bang.
Also from a penetration standpoint.
I could go and shoot that thing again and kill something with it.
That is impressive. That is impressive.
But the so somebody sent us the slow-mo that Josh did with the like really high expensive cameras that were going through like hide, ribs, and like, so it definitely, as it compresses, there is still movement as it opens up. And somebody did the math. I thought it was great, but whatever. It was less than 2 inches basically from the time it would compress fully to opening back up based on the speed.
Like an average speed.
Yeah, an average speed. So sure, there is some smaller cutting, but at the same time, as it's smaller, it's getting bigger till it gets back to its full shape as it's passing through. Because I think T-Bone and us talked about that a little bit. And so I don't know, like I did do a gutless method. So in hindsight, I didn't go in and pull the lungs and liver and stuff. And frankly, at that point, I was just juiced out anyways. But, you know, it hit high. I think we talked about this. I had ranged 35 as the closest he could come, 42 as the furthest. I set my pin on 42. And in hindsight, I probably should have taken the time to aim a little lower. I didn't. I shot a little higher. I went back and looked.
It's harder to do that mentally, I think. Your brain doesn't want to hold low.
I was just locked in. I was just like on the shoulder ripping. And I went back and looked. I was probably 13 to 14 inches below the back of his back. So I mean, higher, like upper high, but not anything. Smoked the close lung for sure. No doubt there. The question is, did I hit hit the opposite lung at all, or did I hit the liver? He went 630 yards based on how I measured in Onyx, essentially. And he bled a lot, especially early, and then late it was more of cavity filling than blood. But that animal was stoned ass dead when I found him, which was about 2.5 hours after I shot. So, you know, about an hour and a half of wait, about an hour and 15 minutes of wait, hour and 15 minutes of finding him. And that thing was, I mean, rigor mortis dead. So I assume he ran 630 yards. It's a big animal. But he went right to his death when he did.
And mainly downhill or flat is what
downhill and flat. And why I think he just ran to his death, because I had people ask me about that, is like he didn't tuck in. There's autumn olives and stuff everywhere. He didn't tuck in. He was literally laying right off the side of a 4-wheeler trail, like just plopped over. Like that was it. That's as far as I'm making it. So yeah, super impressed with that in terms of how that worked. My pack out, I had people tell me that it was pretty impressive. I mean, I think it's impressive, but like, so by the time I found him, I had to write the warden, take a screenshot, said dead elk. And that's mainly so like if somebody finds the carcass, they're not like, hey, something got poached. So sent that over. I think I tried to call you. I called Emily, I called my parents, And then I was like, I got to get at this. I had all my game bags, all my knives and everything. And so from the time I started to the time I packed him out, which was do all the quarters, back straps, everything out, cape up to the neck, take the head off, bag that too, go out, get my pack bag and the game cart. That's when I called you, come back in and get him out. It took me 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good.
Faster than I would guess.
And that's because I didn't do multiple trips getting him out. Like it
that's
was
what
slow
it was.
going.
Yeah, you did one big trip.
I did one big trip. It was kind of like go further, drop the head.
That's more
come back.
impressive than how long it took, is that you did it all in one trip.
Yeah. I mean, at first, dude, I was pushing that game cart like a shopping cart, and like, you know, with that, but I was juiced, man. I was like, felt like I was on steroids. You're just so amped up. Like it all worked out. Like I'm packed up, I'm heading out, like I'm ready to go.
I know the feeling.
I had PBR pounders in my mind. Like I was like ready to rock. And, but then I got to that hill and then I was like, all right. So I packed the head up, I dropped the head off, I come back down and I'm basically had to row him backwards up that hill. And that took some juice out. But then I'm on a plateau and then on the other side, it's down to the truck basically. So yeah, so I mean, the pack out probably went as smooth as possible. It was hot. I mean, I remember even getting in my truck and driving to go get more ice directly after I got him out, and it was like 75 degrees still. And I mean, I was just drenched, just pouring sweat. So like that was if anything, that became my concern, is like, how do I cool this down? And I will tell people, all the meat's fine. In fact, I ate some the other day. It was awesome. I made a mistake in that I had 3 coolers set up and I put ice in them and I put the hindquarters in there and I shut them out for the night and it melted the ice like that because all the heat from the meat stayed in the cooler versus being able to let them kind of air and cool. But I didn't know what the best choice, because it was 75 degrees out.
Interesting.
So in hindsight, the next morning when it was cooling down, I actually opened the coolers and stood them up vertical, all the quarters, and I packed ice vertically, but I left them open just to like air move around.
Is there something like, has anybody ever, like, I don't know, looked into like contact, like when the meat and the ice are together versus like if they're kept separate? Maybe it's the OCD in me. I've always felt like they should be kept separate. Like you want to have some kind of a barrier between the meat.
So I keep my ice in the bag.
What do you mean? Well, yeah, but it's those bags that don't have any integrity, right? Like it's leaking. The thing was full of water.
Condensation. Yeah. But I always keep the opening so that it runs, like when it melts, it runs out of the cooler.
Well, yeah. Probably helps.
Yeah, so
and the ice was in the bags.
Yeah, and it's not sitting.
So yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it helped. So once I let that go for a while, then I actually deboned everything, and the meat had cooled off enough that I could really pack it in ice. I put it in like scentless garbage bags, and then pack that in ice, and then it was good. And honestly, I still have a hindquarter to process. It's packed in ice right now.
Well, I don't know that you did anything wrong then. I mean, you probably just needed some more ice to replenish it.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, if it was cooler, I would have let them hang.
Sure.
And then put them in the cooler. Yeah. But like, honestly, it was 3 a.m. too. Like I was.
Yeah, 75 degrees is not cool.
No, it was hot and it was humid.
That's danger zone.
I know.
As far as, bacteria.
Yeah. So, and I can't remember who I bought them from. I did buy like an antibacteria game bag. So it had something on it like to help with that. Cause remember I said, as soon as I found it, it was like Fly City. Like just immediately, I'm like,
oh yeah,
how did all of these flies already get here?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I think one of the questions I wanted to talk about is, you asked me if I would do it again, and the answer is no.
Well, you're talking a lot about where this tag, specifically where you're hunting and stuff. I'm like, I assume you're not going back.
Yeah, no. And for a couple of reasons. Number one is like, how do I top that? Like it was the entire, I mean, first of all, like even though it happened on Wednesday evening,
it's a freaking awesome bull. Dude.
Like I worked,
that's quite an accomplishment.
I worked my ass off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. Like I put a lot of miles on in 2.5 days.
Dude, just for sake of, I mean, people can go watch the Hunt Companion, but let's just hold them up with 2 here so guys can see them from there, even on your top angle view.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome.
Yeah, he looks.
The big old eye guards.
Yep.
Yeah, good mass all the way up. He's got some cool character up here, you know. Yeah, what more can you ask for on your your first bull? Really awesome mass right here. Short threes, like you said, honestly better than my Colorado bull. Mine are, you know. I thought he broke them off when I saw that bull rolling down the hill.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no, I'm pretty sure it broke off a 3. You know, he's like, I don't know, I think they're just short.
Yeah, I mean, just freaking big mass down below. Yeah, I don't know.
He's super cool, man.
Yeah.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deer Grow.
Man, hard to believe, but Deer Grow has been the sponsor that's been there since the beginning of the HUNTR Podcast. Back in 2021, I think that they were the only partner that we had, but it's such a cornerstone brand and set of products for our food plot strategy throughout the year.
No doubt. And it seems like we used to have an off season, but not so much anymore. It's like when the hunting season ends, it really rolls right into food plot season, habitat projects, all of the above. And the Plot Start and Plot Boost have been there since the very beginning. That's a cornerstone for all of our plots. The Plot Start goes on at the beginning, Plot Boost goes on midway through. And since they came out with all of the fertilizers, that gets mixed in with the Plot Boost application as well. And I can't believe the results that we've been getting out of that.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, it's all the work now that really produces the results in the fall. So right now, anyone listening to HUNTR Podcast can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for 15% off any of the products at deergrow.com.
Better food plots, bigger deer.
So no for a couple. Number one, yes, I will continue to put in for the draw. Like if I got drawn, absolutely I would go hunt, because either I'm going to get the unit to hunt, which gives me private as well. Like that's the other thing is I think I looked at the stats, like over 50% of the hunters are hunting on private land. The other 50%, I think half of them, so 50%, yeah, the other 25% are then on a regulated area, which I was hunting right next to a regulated area. People asked me, that was the other question. They're like, dude, out of all this 30,000 acres, you pick 130 acres to hunt. It was bumped up against a regulated area. My only elk experience in Kentucky was in 2023 when Emily's Uncle John hunted it with me. We hunted a regulated area and we were on elk. I went 2 and 2 and thought, okay, that was an area that had elk. Like it's not open to the public. They only give a handful of tags out. Like that should be a really good spot for elk to be on. The hardest part was like I had to call them across, or they had to be on this 130 acres, which was difficult.
Yeah, super limiting.
Yep, and multiple days I heard bulls on the regulated area, but like, you know, they're 700 yards or 600 yards or 400 yards. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I could bugle back at them, and I did at one time, and one answered me, but it's like, that's all I can do. Like, unless he comes over here, like, there is nothing. I couldn't even glass to see him. That was the other sucky thing. Like, at least you could get excited if you're like, oh, there he is, man. What a monster. Like, you know, maybe he'll come over. No, I can't see anything because it's so thick. I'm buried in, like, autumn olives and briars, like, up to my head. And so I would continue to put in a draw. My hope would be that I would get an RA, and I would hunt it again. Or if I didn't, I would absolutely look at private land, right? To find somebody who's got elk on private land to hunt. This challenge of public down there, and
you could do that with a tag you bought. You could go and get permission.
Not with the one I bought. That's why I'm saying if I got drawn,
you'd have to get drawn for that.
Correct.
Okay.
The tag I bought is purely good for that property only. That's it. And so,
have you talked to anybody else that's bought that exact tag?
No.
It would be super interesting. I wonder if there's anybody like in your situation that bought it a couple of years ago and was like, yeah, similar situation, whether they got one or not, but they're like, we just couldn't get on anything.
In hindsight, I think
like you had 5 of 6 left over.
Well, that's
like
maybe
there's a reason for that.
I think there was. In hindsight, that's probably why. There is another place right next to it called Elk Forest WMA, which is only 12,000 acres maybe. So they had 2 tags for that, and both of those sold. Maybe a better spot. I don't know. Like
statistically
better. Likely. So, and again, like I was in bulls. Like I mean, not that I saw them. I mean, I probably saw the same cow twice, and then I saw this guy. Right, that's it. But like, I mean, I heard
in a short time frame, like 3 days, 3.5 of which was pouring rain.
It rained.
Torrential downpour.
And I heard at least 2, if not 3 different bulls, bugled. So, I mean, I was in bulls. I'd found fresh tracks. Even the spot that I went and hunted and I didn't hear anything, I went back to where I found that giant bull track in early September.
Yeah.
Like, he's there somewhere, unless he got killed, which...
Unlikely.
The one thing that was kind of weird is, so the nice thing is, like, every record... All right, I'm gonna let some people in on, like, my research here, right? Every record... for elk harvest on public land especially exist in the telecheck system for Kentucky Department of Wildlife. So what I did once I got this tag, in hindsight, I would do it before I got the tag. So I went back to 2024 and I said, what was killed on Boone Forest Lands WMA? 6 bulls and 6 cows were killed last year. That was the most out of any public land in Kentucky. Good sign, first off. That doesn't include those regulated areas, right? That's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
Of those 6...
So that's that tag, right?
That's that. That would... Well, it could be anybody who drew those units too, right? It's open public. It covered Unit 2 and Unit 3. So effectively, there were another 70 archers who could have hunted those as well.
Okay.
And there were. I mean, dude, the number of people that are now writing me because they know I killed one, it's a lot. Like, there's a lot of people hunting that stuff. But... Of those, 2 of them were killed. 2 of the bulls were killed during archery season. When I got there on Sunday afternoon, they've already killed 2 bulls on Boone Forest Lands WMA. So immediately I'm like, shit. Like, I passed that first week, opting for the second week, thinking it would be better rutting activity. The weather was trash compared to the first week. And they had killed 2 bulls. So not that I felt disadvantaged, but the first thing I did, they probably don't listen to this, is I looked up both of those names on Facebook and found the bulls that they killed. Because I'm like, is it anyone that I have on camera? Because that would suck. Right. And one looks very similar. I'm not positive, but it looks similar to the 2-year-old that I had on camera. So anyways, that was part of my research that I'm looking at, is like, and you can also see the success statistics. So you can go by unit. I can go to Unit 3 and see that on average, it's like 27% archery success. Now, remember, half of those people are on private and a quarter more are on RAs. Like, your public land, open land guy is probably not succeeding very often. But you can at least see, this is what I tell people all the time. I'm like, do your research, right? It's all there. In fact, every day that I was hunting, I was in telecheck seeing what bulls were being checked in that day and where they were being killed. Because if anybody was killing bulls in my territory, I'm like, it was at a place I was hunting.
I want to know about it.
Yeah, I want to know about it. It was at a place I was hunting. Where'd they get them? Were they killing bulls
in my territory?
Yeah,
I want to know about it.
That's my shit. So yeah, all of these things. This was so cool. Is like, I know not every state does it, but we're talking about all of these things are like right at your fingertips to be able to know. So like, I go in there, I'm like, okay, they've already killed 2 bulls on Boone Forest Lands WMA. That's fine. I looked at those bulls. I was like, okay, I don't think, maybe this one is, but I'm not worried about that one. It's, it was the smaller of the 2. I couldn't find the other guy on Facebook. He whether he didn't have one or not. But I also
check LinkedIn.
Yeah, maybe. And so, but I started to see, them stack up in there. So you have all these resources there kind of at your fingertips. And then I'm also part of an elk hunting DIY and an elk hunting Kentucky forum that, like, it's all Kentucky elk hunting, right, on Facebook. And so there's a lot of chatter on there, for better or worse, a lot of it is bitching of like, there are no elk, they're all gone. And we can get into that. I mean, I have my own theories. I did talk to several locals after I killed this one that are like, hey, the department's trapping them out and moving them. They definitely have done some of that. Do I still think there's a lot of elk in Kentucky? Absolutely. They're just very spread out, especially with the acorn crop this year. Like, there were acorns everywhere. So they're very spread out, and you can't see them. Like 10, 15 years ago, you could drive up into these old coal strip mines and it was, 2-foot tall grass and there's 50 elk out in the field. Now that same strip mine is 10 to 12 foot autumn olive. There are elk in there. In fact, I talked to the elk biologist who has a bunch of them GPS collared, and he's like, they stay in that thicket, and it gets dark, and they come out of that thicket. And then before it gets light, they go back into that thicket.
Like, do they ever consider, like, whatever, setting it back, or doing some controlled burns on that autumn olive stuff?
Yeah, so they're working, and I don't know what properties are doing what, but they basically right now what they're doing is they've got 2 big dozers with a chain, and they go through and they rip out all those autumn olives. So they are working on...
Interesting strategy.
Yeah, they are working on doing some of that. But, I mean, dude, it's the entire area is like old strip mine, and then you have sparse hardwood ridges in some spots. So, like, it's an immense amount of work where, again...
You don't think they could burn them out? You don't think a fire would? I mean, not that that's going to kill the root system, but it's going to set it back significantly.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they got to do something because even, like, put hunting aside, that habitat is not getting any better for elk, right? Elk want grasslands and stuff like that. This is deer brushy habitat.
How what's the word? Is it exclusively autumn olive?
And a lot of briars and just annual.
Is it something that a well-timed spray could manage for? Like autumn olive holds its leaves a lot later than most.
Maybe. I mean, dude, it is like immensely autumn olive. That is the brush. Yes. Yeah. Immense.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's just, yes. So maybe, I mean, who knows? And the problem is it's like, even though that one is like open to public, like it's still privately owned by the company I bought the tags from. So they may be like, yeah, we don't want to do any of that. I don't know. And there is still a lot of active coal mining in that area, not nearly as much as there used to be. In fact, it's super sad to go back. You see these giant coal structures where all the conveyors and stuff will come in and it's just covered in vines, just like ghost towns.
Wow.
But there still is some active mining. In fact, I talked to a lot of the energy guys because I was driving up into these places that are in the middle of nowhere, and there'd be a truck there, and it's just an energy guy doing whatever they do. And
energy stuff.
Yeah. And he'd be like
drinking energy drinks.
He'd be like, elk hunting, huh? I'm like, yeah. He's like, phew. Bill, when's the last time we saw an elk? Yeah, 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when we saw an elk up here. And I'm like, really? Meanwhile, I'm like, I heard one bugle yesterday, over here.
Yeah.
But that's not discrediting them. It's they just don't see them. Right. You can't see them. And so if you look at some of these Facebook groups, and I'm not knocking these guys, but there were several of them that were in my unit, and they're like, we spent 9 days, we didn't hear a bugle, we barely saw tracks, da-da-da-da-da. And then you see the key word, which is, I rode 60-plus miles on my side-by-side. Well, yeah, it's hard to read sign at 20 miles an hour. And I think that, and maybe they were 15 years ago, I don't have anything to compare it to. These animals are now wilderness beasts. They don't live in open terrain. They don't see you riding your four-wheeler. They hear you coming, and they are avoiding you like the Black Plague. They're not going to just walk out and be like, hey, what's this, a four-wheeler? They don't do that shit anymore. They bury themselves in autumn olive. They do not come out. And if you don't go in and spend time in there looking for them, you're not going to see them, and there's a very small window of hearing them. So when I'm hearing and looking at these people, and I'm not saying that some of these guys aren't hunting hard, because I'm sure they are. There for sure is sign out there. There are for sure elk out there. They aren't that vocal. I figured I was in peak rut, and the weather did suck, so I'm sure that played a big factor in it. But I did not hear much happening from a vocalization standpoint.
I wonder if guys on the private land stuff, the owners of that public land, if they could do, because you can't bait for them, right? You can't.
Well, I mean,
legally, you're not allowed to bait elk.
Correct.
You can bait the deer, you said.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So if people are and everybody, I talked to every local on private land's got a corn pile.
Yeah. To be legal about it, I wonder if they could plant food plots for elk, and if they would take advantage of that.
Absolutely could. Yeah. I know they would. Dude, if you wiped out a 10-acre section of autumn olives and you came back and stabbed that in clover or something,
a big alfalfa field.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
So and they may be. So I'm not going to burn it. There's a very well-known regulated area down there. It's where Trump and all of these guys, Trump Jr. and Ranella and all these guys hunted. It is, if you ask any of the wardens, because that's who I was talking about it, they'll put in for elk drawing. They only will hunt if they draw that place, because it's the mecca. It's where you can kill a 400-inch bull. And it's because they manage it. It's huge property. They manage it. I think they give, I don't know, 3 or 4 tags to the public, and then everything else is their landowner tags that they have. It is the Mecca on it because they're actively managing on it. The elk, like the amount of elk you hear and see and experience is like none other.
Mm-hmm.
But when you detach yourself from those places, it goes downhill really quick. Like even on the private side, like I know the place I stayed at for my Airbnb, the family owned the entire mountain, like literally from the bottom to the top. My cabin was clear at the top of the mountain, 10-minute drive from the main road. And it had this giant field and pond up there. It was beautiful. And he's like, 10 years ago, he's like, there'd be 30 elk out here and there'd be bulls bugling all over the place right in front of your cabin. He's like, I couldn't tell you the last time we heard one around here.
Wow.
And, you know, he's like, we could plant this and stuff. He's like, I just don't think that they're here necessarily. And,
interesting.
And so, you know, I think they need such vast, and maybe he said, I think 2 or 3 years ago, he had a couple cows come through and, you know, they're just spread out. It seems like at this point.
So what do you think that means? Like, what is that, you know, area that has all those big elk? Like, what are they doing to manage?
I think they're keeping it more grassland oriented.
Habitat management.
Yeah, habitat management. And I think they're able to control the pressure, not only from the hunters, but the biggest issue down there is the side-by-sides and just people. I mean, I don't know if people are poaching and I have no proof of that. But I mean, it's backwoods Kentucky,
mm-hmm.
and I mean there are 4-wheelers everywhere where it's illegal.
There's a lot of that going on, just riding recreationally.
A ton of it.
Yeah,
dude, I saw 50 4-wheelers driving around.
Wow,
easily. Like I'd be driving my truck up this. I'm like, Jesus, this is crazy. I'm like rock climbing, and like 3 4-wheelers would be like boom, right down. I'm like,
wow,
where'd they come from?
There's a lot of that going on, huh?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's just all old roads and trails.
It's probably awesome riding. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic riding. I'm sure it is. But even like through, like I had, like where I shot mine, I had a lot that I almost avoided that entire place because it was also the only place I had 4-wheelers coming through,
mm-hmm.
like pretty frequently too.
Mm.
Fortunately, I didn't see any 4-wheelers in the track I was hunting while I was there. They were on that gravel road a lot. I could hear them all the time on that, but they never came up in on that side. So, and that's probably because a lot of those trails are grown in with autumn olives and they don't want to drive through it and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. People, like, very possible that the elk population is a lot less. I do think that they issue an extreme amount of tags. I think they issue over 500 tags a year. They are killing still over 100 bulls a year. That's a lot. That's a lot of elk on an eastern population. I talked to the elk biologist. He called me the next day, which was really cool. We talked through like sending the teeth off and just, you know, everything else kind of that's going on. I asked him about EHD. He didn't have any real definitive proof that it was affecting elk as much as it was whitetails.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the GPS collars of how those elk were moving, you know, as people were saying like, hey, we don't see them. And it's like, well, they don't go into the opening until it's dark and they come back before it's light. So he has those GPS collars. So it was a cool conversation to have on all of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's, I have nothing to compare it to. Like I have a hunt that I spent whatever I was there 3 or 4 days with John and I saw a bull two of those days, and the third day the guy shot it. And I'm sure there was a herd bull around there because that was purely a satellite bull. He never made a sound. I never saw him with a cow, anything like that. You know, so between that and then my hunt, which was tough, I put a lot of miles on, and I definitely found some desolate areas where I'm like, I just wasted a half a day. And I didn't find an elk track, period. Mm-hmm. One of those being the place I had a camera with all those rubs on it. I walked back in there to get that camera out. I didn't see a elk track anywhere out there. Nothing. Nowhere. So, like, there definitely are, like, it really comes down, you're either in them or you're not. Mm-hmm. It's not like whitetails where, like, you're just in the right spot and there are deer scattered around the landscape. These are herd animals. Mm-hmm. So if you're not in the pocket with the herd, you're outside looking in. Yeah. And so I think that took a while to kind of understand. And, you know, every once in a while, whether you heard a bugle or like I found that one big track when I was still hunting one of those ridges, I'm like, I'm kind of in the game, which is all I want, right? I just want to feel like I'm not out here spinning my wheels. Like I'm kind of in the game. There is something out here. There is one out here. And eventually it came down to hunting them like a whitetail, which was hunt that spot in the evening, leave, come back in the morning, hunt that spot, leave, come back in the evening, hunt that spot, killed them. And it was just in and out of the same spot, you know, and that ultimately is, you know, where you get yourself in the right place at the right time to make it happen. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've tried to, I've had a bunch of people text me or find me on Facebook. I had a youth hunter and his dad that I gave him some of the spots I heard bugles, and I was like, hey, you know, I don't know what you're going to get into. Your tag is better than mine because you could go to these other places if you guys decide to walk. But my hope is you at least hear a bugle, and doesn't sound like any of them were successful. And that was gun season. Gun season started on Saturday. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell some of those guys, because I know there's a lot of guys that hunt really hard. I know some guys from years past that wrote me and they're like, hey, I hunted that same unit and man, I didn't see shit, or I saw a spike, and like, yeah, we've been hunting hard. And it's a different type of hunt. Like, I think the biggest thing that kind of screamed it was, you know, in like 2010, 11, 12, the success rate for archery bull and gun bull was damn near 100%. For gun, it was 100% basically. For archery, it was like 75 or 78%. And then as we get later to now, you see the decline. And like, I think now archery is like 32 or 31%. And gun is like under 50%. So, you know, there's two factors there. It's like either one, the elk aren't there anymore. Possible. Like back when they were killing all of those elk, they issued 1,000 tags a year. At 100% success rate for gun bull. I mean, you're putting a dent in the population. Now you're issuing 500 tags, but you're killing a lot less. I think the biggest part of it's a habitat. You don't see these animals, therefore you can't shoot them with guns easily as far. And even in archery, it's like you don't see them. You can't just make spot and stocks and like get close. Like you're just rumbling through greenbrier and, you know, autumn olive and stuff. And so I think that that's probably the bigger factor, until Kentucky Department tells us differently, that the herd is decreased substantially. Like, it's a habitat thing, and it can be fixed, right? But where my fear is like, what if they don't do anything in the next 5 to 10 years? Right. Then I think that habitat becomes unsuitable for these elk, because like right now there's a lot of browse and stuff at that level. There's tons of acorns on the ridges for the fall. There's tons of forbs in the spring and summer in these fields and stuff. But as this continues to mature, it becomes not favorable to elk populations. And then I worry, you know, of how is that going to affect them. But yeah, it was a really wild experience, from like how you go from such lows to highs quickly. And, yeah, I mean, I think the coolest part was like just the being able to use the woodsmanship for like 3-4 days, basically, of I'm just walking around looking for tracks and shit. It's satisfying, isn't it? Tracks and shit. Like, is this fresh? Picking up shit. I'm like, nope, that's hard. Nope, that thing, maybe. Like, and like, you know, looking at tracks, that's cow track. That, you know, I found basically two bull tracks the entire hunt. One was probably the bull that I killed. The other one was one that I maybe heard bugle, and I was chasing in a whole different part of the property. But yeah, it's I guess going back to like the other reason I wouldn't do that tag again is I wouldn't want to take that experience from someone else. Now that I've had it and I've succeeded and it was everything that I thought it could be, I think other people, if they want an insanely hard challenge, I wouldn't want to take that from them. I would say, hey man, I could easily go and buy that same tag next year, right? And go to spots that I'm probably like, I'm in a better spot than I was last year because I have more knowledge. It's an experience that, like, if you really want to challenge yourself, like, you know, it costs money. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Go for it. Go for it. But I part of me is like, I did it. I proved myself I could do it, and I'm satisfied with the outcome. And like, if I can help anybody, like if somebody buys that tag next year, like I said, DM me. Like I don't want to spot burn this thing, right? But the tags are there. They're publicly available for sale. It's not a gimme. But if you buy one or you draw those units, I'm happy to help you.
I mean, it honestly sounds like if you can buy that tag and go there and kill an elk, like, good for you.
Good for you, man.
Good for you.
Yeah, it easily, like, potentially, I don't know, 15 minutes or a different decision, and I would have came home empty-handed. Like, that close. I mean, just because the other spots I had, I mean, one, I killed them on Wednesday, so I had Thursday, Friday left to hunt. Thursday was a shitty day for weather. Friday was the best day I had, and then Saturday started gun season, and from what I've heard, it was swarming with, like, guides and UTVs and things like that.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I was this close from a timing standpoint to walking away empty-handed, which I would have been okay with. That, frankly, that was my expectation, is I pump my balls off and I come home and it was like, man, that was a cool adventure, but that was tough, you know? So if anybody is looking for that, I'm happy to help you. I'll put you in the right direction. It will cost you, not to me, but to buy that tag. But it is not a gimme, and there are definitely limitations to it. The advantage is you get a tag. The limitation is you are bound to property lines that are tight.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about, like, where we hunt whitetails in North Dakota. You know, it's like, while we don't intentionally, you know, highlight the spot that we're in there, it is public land. Yeah. And, you know, kind of the attitude that we have about it is like, you can't, especially if you're filming and stuff, it's like, you know, people can pick up on stuff, and like, it's not like we're being super secretive about it either, but it's like, it's almost like, good luck. If you could come here and kill a whitetail, like, friggin' you've earned it, because it's miserable and it's hot and it's freaking the barrier to entry in terms of learning the ground and finding finding the deer and being able to access them where they're at and stuff. It's just so challenging.
Oh yeah, dude.
That it's just kind of like, hey man, if somebody is willing to go to that level of things, then freaking great, good for you.
Yeah. I had somebody write me.
You're a real one.
In fact, I'm probably going to talk to me either today or tomorrow. But based on the Hunt Companion, I believe they know where I killed this bull. I haven't said exactly, but it's not rocket science to figure it out.
Sure.
And they have a cow tag. And they're like, hey, can I just talk to you about how you entered it and stuff?
Is the cow still in there?
I'm sure she is. And she's
You mind if I go in and get her?
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, man, call me. I was like, I'm happy to. I'll tell you some of the other spots. I mean, not that I saw any other cows. Like, yeah, it's just, but it would be cool. I mean, anybody that's looking for that, like, Eastern advantage. And that was the other big advantage, I guess, is like, I was 6.5 hours from home. So, like, if I didn't tag out during this trip, I could come back in December and hunt it easily, you know, or I could pop it. Maybe if I got a day or two, I could come down and hunt it in the second bull season. Like, it's close enough that it was like, it's right there. In fact, after when I processed everything here on Thursday, deboned everything, got them all caped out, got the skull plate done. And then I left Thursday night. I was supposed to stay there till Monday. I left Thursday night, drove up to my cabin, and Friday did some things on the farm, and then came home Friday night. Like, it was all, you know, I ended up getting a whole bunch of shit done just for being able to tag out early. But having it right there makes it nice. But like I said, not a walk in the park. I think I told you, like, the only thing that I, like, missed, I guess, a little bit was, like, you didn't have that Western, you know, bulls ripping bugles all over the place invisibly, like, there he is, or you just hear him ripping. Like, it was like when you're walking, you'd stop and you're like, was that a bugle? Like, it would catch you that off guard if you heard one. Yeah. And most of the time it wasn't. You're like, whatever, a four-wheeler did.
Maybe also, like, kind of bizarre because it's country that you're semi-familiar with.
Oh, dude, I felt right at home, which is so funny. Like, like, even in those big hills and you know, that the best bugle interaction I had was the first full day at lunchtime. I walked clear out at the end of this ridge. It's probably 2 miles. It was all acorns. I still hunted out there. It's where I found the big bull track, and on this trip, not on the last trip. And I get out there, and there's these just flat rocks, like exactly what I would think about as like my mountain up here. And so I crawl up on a flat rock. I kick my legs out. I get my sandwiches out, and I'm just sitting on this
snake there.
Yeah, just sitting on this rock, and I'm like, and it's got this like little bench below me. There's acorns falling. It's like, I got a nice little breeze, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, like it felt exactly like how I would hunt at home. And then like a bugle rips out in the hollow, like way down below me. And I'm like, I texted Emily. I'm like, I just heard a bugle. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm eating lunch. I just heard a bugle. She's like, bugle back. I'm like,
good call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I call back and it bugles closer. And then I'm like, holy shit. So I like scatter because again, I'm on a line. Like I'm on the public line and it goes down the hill, but then there's this big hollow that's private that he's down in. So I'm now setting up hoping that he's coming off that private back up to where I'm at. And I waited for a half hour, nothing, call again. He bugles, but he's going up the other side at this point. That's when I circled the whole way around at horseshoe because I can't cut through the private. Whole way around that horseshoe, which was like 3+ miles, 4 miles maybe. I get to the other end, I set up, I call, nothing. I sat there the whole night, nothing. And I'm like, how? Like he was there, he for sure had cows with him, he was fired up and like just disappeared. Like a giant animal with other giant animals, they just vanish. And I went into that same spot the next morning and heard nothing. But like just that was as close to a like, whoa, like things got like, I got fired up real quick because this happened so fast that I almost didn't have time to get fired up.
Right.
That was the only time that I really was like, I felt like I was in it. Like I could make a move here and get in front of them and I'm going to rip them right up out of this hill. Yep. And clearly it didn't work that way.
Like it happens a lot now, Cunning. Like you make all this effort to get out around them and then nothing. Like they just disappear.
Yeah. So
you're working up another ridge.
Yeah. So it was, yeah. And it, you know, everybody obviously I'm talking to is like, hey, I'd shoot the first like raghorn you see, you know, like don't wait. And I kind of was on that. Like it was like, again, I was just trying, it was public land. I just want to be successful. That was the first, honestly, that was the first elk in range. Like even the 2 cows, I would have never been able to get a shot. So it's like, that's the first one that I could have shot at anyways. So yeah, I guess, you know, obviously always wide open if people have questions or they want to talk about it more. If you want to hear more of the detailed story, I would go back and listen to that Hunt Companion from Sunday. Yeah. But wild, man. Feels like not to rub it in, but feels like a pretty giant weight off the back, like already into the season.
Oh, just rub it in at all for me. No, dude, it's been a freaking whirlwind. Starting with that, you know, and then rolling right into
opening
our Ohio opener, which was, I guess, just this past weekend. So you killed this bull on what?
Wednesday evening,
and then we started hunting Saturday. So you want to get into that?
Yep, let's go.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
Should be no surprise to anyone listening to this that back with Hoyt another season. I'm actually going to be shooting the AX2 aluminum this year.
You traitor.
But you're still going RX9.
Yeah, blacked out as always.
Blacked out. Yeah. Big surprise for everyone.
80 pounds. Big surprise. Yeah.
But seriously, man, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Every year it seems like we get a new Hoyt bow in our hands, and they're always a step above the last and just a step above everybody else.
Yeah, they're so consistent, man. Just their processes get better, you know, every year. And we've really been excited about, as we've grown with Hoyt, we've brought some others in with us. And we just feel like the Hoyt family is growing, like the community, and we're really excited about the people that are involved, excited to be a part of that company. And it's really awesome.
So for anyone that's excited about Hoyt like Jared and I are, you can use the code HUNTR, HUNTR, on Hoyt.com.
Get serious, get Hoyt. What's going on, guys? I just want to give a quick disclaimer on this upcoming section of the podcast regarding a deer that we shot this past weekend called Temptation. It's the 4-year-old deer that you guys have heard us talking about here for a better part of the summer. The disclaimer I'm going to give is that after this all went down, it was brought to our attention that there may or may not be some laws regarding how we handled the situation, and which I feel was right. And at the end of this year, I think you'll see that we did exactly the right thing and the ethical thing, which is what we were trying to do, both in regards to putting the animal down and also, you know, how we shared that experience with the neighbor and deciding whose deer it was. So I do want to let everybody know that after the fact, we did make contact with the local game warden and discussed, you know, the entire situation. And he actually complimented us on the ethics that, but both myself and the neighbor, shared with one another. He approved of the situation, said that is how it should have been handled, and actually read up a formal report for us just because I shared with him that, this story was going to be made public. And obviously we want to make sure that we're doing everything above board, and beyond reproach to the best of our ability. So I feel good about what was done here. I think we did the right and ethical thing. And regarding the law, we have the endorsement of a local game warden, and that's exactly what we should do. And if I made any mistake in this, how this all went down, is just, maybe should have called him sooner, even from the tree stand. Getting that answer, directly from the horse's mouth as early as possible, I think can make the difference sometimes between doing the right or wrong thing, regardless of how you feel about the situation. So that's my disclaimer going to this section. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Okay. Ohio opener.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like it's crazy how like it's like there's a universal law or rule that's like, if it can happen, it will. I think that's an actual named rule, and it's not like if it can go wrong, it will happen. It's just, if it can happen, it's like, I've seen so many things from a tree stand and in the deer woods that it's just like, no way that's going to happen. There's no chance and there it goes. And it's just like, you could never, I guess what they say is you can't write these things. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it went. But I don't know if I'll tell the story as well as you told it, from an elk standpoint, but if you want to help me along here, I'll tell you what happened. So if you go back and listen to, I don't know, 5-10 podcasts ago, we did kind of some coverage on how we've basically gotten some new neighbors. My uncle sold off a big chunk of ground, a portion of which was bought by an Amish gentleman, and it bordered us directly. And it was a piece that, for at least part of the time, this big 4-year-old that I've been talking about all summer was living on or using in some capacity. And so that's kind of the pretense for the conversation. I'm going to probably miss some details for sure. So if you want to go back and clarify something, but we've gotten to know this guy, in a fairly short period of time.
I knew him before, coincidentally.
Yep.
Like, I had met him. He owns...
I do want to leave his name out just for, people can find out. But yes, super nice guy.
Yep.
He's well connected in the Amish community and otherwise, deer hunting community, also. So we have mutual friends. We're finding out more and more.
A lot of them.
And so... he and I had a conversation about this deer and several other deer. We got together, met in person. I met some of the guys that do some work for him on as far as helping with food plots and stuff like that. And it's funny how much they need help with, actually, because of the technology thing. Like, they run cameras for them. They do all the stuff, keep feeders fed and stuff like that. So he actually doesn't even own the property yet. It's under contract still. So he had an agreement in there that he could use it, right
Basically
away, which we would have done
hunting rights or whatever. Yeah,
we would have done the same thing. That's how you do it. So he and I got together. Dad was there too. And we talked about that deer specifically, and actually some other 4-year-olds and whatever. We just kind of had a conversation about, like, well, what do you think we should do? And he asked me, like, really just straight up, he's like, do you think we should pass that deer? And which I thought was super cool, that he was like, he would give me some input or the opportunity. And
he was buying this to kill big bucks. Like, that
100%.
That was the reason.
That was a big sign of, like, hey man, like, this could be a pretty cool collaboration here, and I'm hopeful still at this point we'll be moving forward. But, and I basically made the decision for us, just because I've been there. I've kind of been there along with this deer, and I was like, you know what, man, there's enough other neighbors that, first of all, I know for a fact won't pass him, but that he also, I think, is likely to show up on at some point or another. I'm like, just the odds of this deer living and the class of what he is, I was like, I think it would be silly of us to pass him. And that was also prompted by our group, like, pretty much voted me out. I mean, they
basically said, we're going to shoot him. So, I mean, you can't go to your neighbor and be like, hey, don't shoot him, when you guys decided you are going to shoot him. Yeah, and if I really,
this was like phase 2 of, like, our own group conversation. Like, a few days before, our group was like, what do we want to do, guys? It's like, here's what we have, so we decided, to have the most fun this season and to, just...
I think that's the right way to do it.
For our own group decision, we said, hey, I think those deer should be on the table. And I was fine with that. I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? Let's go for him. And I told, this guy the same thing. I said, hey man, I think we should, if we get the opportunity, we should shoot him. So fair game, open season.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the context.
Yep.
And so,
and the deer didn't. I mean, I won't say he wasn't as frequent as on your property.
Yeah.
Towards the season.
So this is a big deer. You know what I mean? This is like, I passed this deer last year as a 3-year-old at what I figured to be 140.
Yep.
Probably right around 140, maybe low 40. Yeah, maybe low to mid 40s. Great looking deer, just look like a 3-year-old, gangly. Yep. I posted that video to social last November 1st, and a bunch of people obviously are like, "Oh, that's an amazing pass," and it's it was a good one, But I'm just not interested in shooting 3-year-olds, And frankly, that was kind of the turmoil I was in this year. I'm like, I'm not really interested in shooting 4-year-olds necessarily, but I'm like, there's a soul searching that's happening throughout this season of like, hey, do I want to be hardline, like I don't shoot 4-year-olds and maybe never shoot a deer off this farm again, or do I want to enjoy what we have and make the most of our group dynamic and work well with our neighbors and stuff? And so I think just where we're at right now is the line is, hey, 4-year-olds are fair game.
Yep.
So
makes sense.
And the reality is, some of these 4-year-olds could grow some big friggin' antlers.
Yeah. Case in point.
So this deer lived. I started getting pictures of him midsummer, well before this property,
and he was
even sold the first time
of other deer at that point. We were already like, whoa.
Just like a genetic freak. I mean, he's like a 1%, like
absolutely
built to score. You know what I mean? Not old looking, not like crazy mask, not like these like Kansas monarchs that you see. Just
big, long, and lots of points.
A lot of points. Ended up being 19 scoreable points is what he's got.
Wow.
And he's mainframe 11
or 12. Yeah.
I think 11. Big split brow on one side, kickers off both sides, bunch of trash, out of the front type stuff. So it just had it all, And we were figuring, I was, midsummer, I was like, I mean, dude, that deer's 170 all day. Like, he's there. And as time went on, we're like, that deer very well could push 180. It's like, see what he looks like out of velvet and stuff. And shed his velvet, still look great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had that 4-year-old mass, just, whatever he is. I haven't seen the score sheet on it or whatever. So that's kind of the deer. He lived on us a lot. We brought those feeders in mid-season, one of which I felt like was in his core area, Yeah,
in fact, we saw him at it several times.
Yep. And he took to it, within a few weeks, and he was there a lot in daylight, very consistently until, I mean, he was there, I'm going to say every day, every other day in daylight for, at least 10 days, 2 weeks, in whatever that would have been, early September, hardhorn.
Yep.
So, so he was there. And more recently, I would say like within the past, from today, week and a half or so, not as consistent, just for whatever reason, acorns dropping, dynamics shifting. He didn't do what he did last year, which, last September about this time, he moved on to us even more.
Yep.
Still maybe overlapped with this other guy's property here, but, he was on us a lot. He was on this Nebraska plot, and I've got a water hole there.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, I'm thinking the Nebraskas probably had a lot to do with it.
Sure.
Just that summertime. I'm sure we were in a drought at that time. They were just hammering. They were coming to those Nebraska plots, and he was super visible there.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually just moved more and more like onto what I felt was core stuff that we could have an opportunity to grow him, to pass him. And he just didn't do that this year. I never saw him at the water hole, even though it was a couple hundred yards from where he ended up getting killed.
Nothing.
He didn't show there. So
that's kind of wild.
Yeah, and so
in hindsight,
and so there's your spoiler alert. It's like this deer's dead.
Spoiler alert.
Which you'll know already from the thumbnail. I'm sure, but. That's kind of the context. Maybe the last little bit leading into opening day was like
we showed up the morning of the 26th.
Yeah,
and hit that scrape, and it was by far my favorite picture of it.
Well, so even before that, the day before, I think it was the day before opening day, something like that. the neighbor called me and said, well, he's like, oh, I'm just all worked up, man. Like, what do you think like about this deer? I'm like, Bob, what do you mean? Like, what do you think? He's like, oh, he's just got me all riled up. Like, are we going to shoot him? I'm like, yeah, dude, I think, you know what I mean? Go, I don't think anything's changed. And I told him honestly at that point, I mean, I was like, hey, I don't have him consistently. I don't know. He was
probably because he did, I assume.
I don't know. And he reciprocated. He's like, well, he was really consistent on me in the mornings for some time, but not so much recently either, type of thing. And so, whatever. I said, hey, it is what it is. If you get him, I'll be happy for you. And we had a good. So
you're on the same page of like, we're killing this deer.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And even amongst our groups, so what happened was the next day, the day before opening day, so Friday morning, I got him on one of my scrapes, a big vine scrape at, 7:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Half an hour after daylight, just an epic picture.
Yeah.
I'll probably post a bunch. I have a bunch of footage, old videos, pictures of this deer and stuff. I mean, he is just awesome to look at.
Yeah.
So he's just up in this vine scrape, just, knocking it out. And I'm like, and I hadn't seen him I did see him 2 or 3 days prior at like 2 a.m. Just didn't even hit that scrape, just came through there. So I'm like, he's around. He's just not consistent. Then the morning before, I'm like, there he is, broad daylight. And I'm like, holy cow, couldn't ask for any more better recent information. And I know this property at this point. I'm like, didn't come from a water hole, didn't come from a feeder. He more than likely is coming off that guy's property, either from a feeder or there's white oaks over there and stuff. And he's coming up through. So he had told me on his phone call, he's like, I'm going to be out there Saturday morning, 5:30. I'm like, okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, and here's where like the details matter. Cause like, there's no way to like, I don't know how this would have changed things.
You didn't enter your stand via his property.
No.
You came in through because you didn't sit over on the other side where you need to. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and you're asking because he gave me permission on one of our early meetings to access a different corner.
Correct.
Which I'm super grateful. He was super cool to do that. No, not that spot.
Got it.
So that's crazy to be in a stand at 5:30. That's it. First light was 6:45.
Oh yeah.
Sunrise was 7:15. So first of all, I would never hunt the morning of opening day unless I had some super rock solid strategy. Even with that picture, I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We'll catch up with him. It was this competition, if you want to call it that. It was this like knowing that like, hey, he's out there. He's not going to last long.
Yeah.
That prompted me to be like, I think we need to try that tomorrow morning. I need to try that stand. And
did anybody else go out?
Nope.
Just you.
Yep. So Dad and I had a conversation and said, hey, here's the deal. And he's like, I think you should try him. I'm like, you want me to try him? And he's like, I think you should try him. I'm like, okay.
All right.
I'll try him. So I took what he said from that call at 5:30, and my strategy here was I was like, I mean, dude, if he goes in there, I mean, there's a chance he bumps him off of that corn pile in the dark, and like who knows what's going to happen.
Very possible.
I'm like,
thermals are still sinking at that point, even if you're in a blind or whatever. Like there's a lot of things that can happen there.
Yeah. So I'm like, I need to be in there before he's in there. Is what I decided.
Oh, interesting. I don't think we talked about that.
That was like a laying in bed.
So you just criticized him for going in at 5:30, and you're like, I got to be in there earlier.
Not at all to capitalize on like a natural movement or anything. Purely to be like, if he bumps him off that corn pile and he runs over onto us, I want to be in already.
Interesting. So what time did you get in?
5:25. And I heard him putts in there on his 4-wheeler at 5:30.
So did he like ride his 4-wheeler up to it?
Or got dropped off or something? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I heard it. I didn't hear any blowing or anything, but I rode my e-bike in. Is what I did, which was another decision. I'm like, do I get dropped off? I don't want to walk through this thing.
E-bike's a solid move.
Yep. These deer on opening day, like they just don't know the game is on.
They don't know they're being hunted yet.
Yeah. So I e-biked in through there. I've got a sweet, I can't remember the brand, but they make a braided just rope is my harness, my sling for my bow. It's really nice. I can just put my bike, put it over my shoulder, and I bike right in. I had a pre-hung set, so I didn't have to hang a stand or anything. It's been there for a long time.
Yep.
And biked in, rode past a few does. Everything I saw was like bedded. Interestingly enough, including, I got in there. Am I going too fast with the story? I don't think so. I don't think so. Good. So that's where we're at. I biked in there.
Yeah.
I decided to drop the bike. 100, 150 yards from this stand.
Yep.
It's kind of like the edge of the field stops. It's a switchgrass field actually, but it's first year. It's like nothing pretty much. It's it's a couple foot tall. I stashed the bike just like over there, and I kind of feel like in the morning it's like movement matters.
Sure.
Like they might see you, they might see your light, but it's like an hour and a half before dark. So you just keep your head down and you just get to where you're going. And sure enough, there's 2 does bedded like under my stand. So they get up and,
booger out.
Go off deeper in the woods, and I get in the stand, and then here we go. It's on. So I heard some other deer before dark. A couple other deer worked through and stuff. I have got a camera right there on that scrape. I'm like, whatever it was that I couldn't tell, but so first light was 6:45. Sunrise was 7:15.
Yep.
At 7:30, I hear something in that direction. I in hindsight, it was a shot. So I mean, that's what I suspect. I'm like, did I just hear a shot? It's not with a crossbow. So I mean, that's
so it was loud.
You can imagine what it sounds like, And I'm like, did I hear something? I can't remember if we'll have to watch the footage back. I have footage of me interviewing. I don't know if I was doing an interview at the time or I started it right after, maybe. And I hear that. I'm like, And then I hear what it sounds like a crash kind of shortly after, like a big stick breaking, like a couple hundred. I think his stand is, I don't know, 250 yards from, if I had to guess, 300 yards maybe, I don't know. And so I hear that, I'm like, interesting. And for sure, there's a video of me being like, I'm pretty sure I just heard something over there. I'm like, I don't know. And then down in the field below me, on our side of the fence, I see some does run out, and I'm like, yeah, something happened up there, and I'm like looking at them, and I'm just kind of like waiting for something to happen here. And I look down in the bowl where I would expect for some of these deer to be coming from, and I see a bigger deer, and I'm like, and I get my binos up, and almost as soon as I get glass on him, it beds down, and I'm like, there he is, that it's him. And the way he's bedded, like he looks not good. Like he's slumped over more than he should be. Like I can't see a wound or anything, but visibly I'm like, I think he's panting. Probably. I'm like, frickin', he got him. He got in there. And like, I knew right there. I'm like, yep, he shot him.
That's what it was.
And so I'm watching him. I get the camera on him pretty quick. I've got that like lone wolf arm. We're filming with our phones, which works great. And I'm just keeping my glass on him. I see him get up not long after, and he starts working kind of in my direction.
So when you see him, he's on the other property right now.
Yeah, he's probably, I don't know, 100, 120 yards from me when I first see him. And he gets up and he starts kind of walking semi in my direction, diagonally up to this, it's an inside corner like this.
Yep.
This would be the guy, the neighbor's property, and we have the bigger, the obtuse angle, if you're going to call it that.
Very nice.
So I'm inside there, whatever, 30 yards off the line. And the theory is they pinch around the inside.
Yep.
That's what the stand is. So I see him walking up, and at that point I can see, and it's his right side that I'm seeing, I see the exit wound, and it's a freaking gnarly gash, right, like in his liver, probably is where I'd guess, like good up and down. And I'm like, oh, yep, like that's it. He got him.
Is he bleeding? Like, can you see?
I'm not seeing a ton of blood.
Yeah, but I mean, just a big gash.
A big gash.
Yeah.
He shoots a SWAT broadhead. I've never heard of it, but it's like a 3.5 inch cut or something crazy.
It's like an axe going through him.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
So I see that. I'm like, he's definitely hit, he walks like, I don't know, another 60, 80 yards, kind of coming in my direction here, beds down again.
This is an interesting thing just for you seeing, like,
yeah, definitely.
Because he's not getting pushed.
Nope.
But now this is a behavior of
a
mortally wounded deer.
Yeah.
Who went into a bed, and most people would be like, well, if you don't push him, he'll stay in that bed. Didn't do it.
Not in this case. Not necessarily. Yeah, so from the shot, I don't know, 150 yards maybe he went, just guessing, and bedded down briefly for I don't know, 10, 15 seconds maybe. The footage will tell us. We can watch it back. But he gets up, walks another 60, 80 yards, plops down again. He's only at like 40 to 60 yards now at this point across the fence. He's just trying to get back into the cover, you know, because our timber is better managed and stuff. The other stuff used to have cows on it, so it's just kind of wide open. And so he gets up to the ridge, and I watch him bed 2 or 3 more times. So 3 to 5 times total I see him bed. The last couple all within a, you know, pretty close thing here. The last bed is right on the fence line. Honestly, you might say technically on our property based on the recent survey they did, but on his side of the fence. He's bedded right there. And I think up until that point, I've been filming for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, I've gone through all the emotions at this point. I'm like, he'll die. Like that looks like his last bed to me.
Yeah, because you're looking at him and analyzing behavior and the shot of like it's a mortal hit. Like he's dying. He's dead. I knew pretty early on, just based on. Did you ever see the entrance?
At some point I probably did. It didn't stand out to me as much as the other one because I saw him on his right side just for a longer period of time. Eventually, whether it was before, I honestly can't remember if it was before. No. Yeah, I saw it while he was bedded. I could see the other one right in front of his front shoulder.
So like hard quarter 2 was the shot. So I mean, he for sure caught lung and probably liver.
Yeah, absolutely. It went right through the cavity. You know, it went right. It went perfect height. Went right in, like, you know, I almost called the back of his neck.
Oh yeah.
And it came out like his liver or just behind it.
Yeah, he's.
Yep. So it went right through.
He's blended.
It's one of those shots like if I shot a deer there, you know, half hour and I'd go look for him.
Interesting. Yeah, it like blendered his inside.
Yeah, especially with, you know, that size of a broadhead. He got a full passer as far as I could tell.
Wow.
So yeah, I saw the entry wound. I don't know if I didn't know at that point which one was which, but I could see both points there, and I'm like, and I could just see the way he's acting. I'm like, that deer's done. In fact, in his last bed there, I'm sure I said it on footage. I was like, he ain't getting up on that one. That's his last one there. He had his head down multiple times. He'd lay his head down, and then he'd pick it up and
really fighting it.
Yeah, and not
which you don't. I mean, you don't want to see that.
No, and honestly, it was. If it could have been, I mean, it was kind of graceful. Like he wasn't like suffering, like stumbling all over himself. He wasn't making any noise. He was just dying.
Yeah, just going to sleep quick.
Just going to sleep. And I think I even stopped recording, or I don't know. Maybe I had it on him at that point, but I'm like, he's in his last bed. That's that. Maybe I picked it up and called you. The timeline is not exactly clear to me, you know, but he ended up getting up. I look up and I'm like, he's standing again. And he's walking right to me. And he gets to the fence and he jumps the fence.
Jeez.
Jumps the fence and walks the trail right down from me. At this point, my bow's on this side of the tree. So my stand is facing.
Yeah.
I'm on the back side of the tree. Bow's over here. Camera arm's here on an adjacent tree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, on a normal anything, I'd expect him to come up, and the shot is here.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a big open wide window over here, and he just jumps the fence and comes straight. So I get my bow and I get it off the thing here, and I bring my thing around. I did watch it back. I thought I double tapped it.
I remember you said that.
I hit it somehow.
Oh.
Like, so not intentionally.
Yeah.
It's not like I knowingly hit the button again. Something bumped it.
Ah, gotcha.
And it stopped recording. You can see it. Yeah. When I moved the thing, I see it stop recording seconds before I shoot it again. So I record him jumping the fence and walking in.
Yeah.
And like 5 seconds before I shoot, it stops. You know, which whatever.
Yeah.
So, and my thought process.
So what's the thought process?
I know for a fact, even on footage, I'm like, that deer's dead. I'm like, you know, he's done. That's his deer. You know.
Yeah.
Not like I thought it through to this point, but like I was like, even if he comes over here, like he's done. Like
yeah.
So he jumps the fence. He's walking towards me at I don't know. We can watch the footage, whatever kind of a clip.
Yeah.
Decent enough, like not super slow, but not trotting either. I mean,
assuming he's going to lay down again at some point.
100%. Yeah, definitely. He's dying.
Yeah.
And this was like, I think his last get up, and so he walks, he comes 15 yards from me, and I draw back and I shoot him again. I put another one through him. Mm-hmm. And from there, he basically just barrels down the hill and piles up right in front of my e-bike. Like I said, maybe 100 yards from the stand down there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was that.
Yeah.
That's how that happened.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think makes sense. I mean, because your thought process isn't like, you're not taking this deer from that guy. Like, you're not like, boom, because there are guys that'll do that. There are plenty of people that wrote to your Instagram that are like, I would have kept that deer.
Yeah. Well, and I haven't read those messages, but I mean,
you know what they're saying though, right? Like,
yeah.
Here's this giant 180-inch plus buck.
No.
Jumps the fence.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been shot before, but like opportunistic, you kill him.
Nope. I had 20 minutes, like I said, to assess the lethality of that first shot, and I was like, he's done. That's totally his deer. I don't remember what I thought at the moment, if it was like I hope he doesn't come over here. But truthfully, this is what goes through your mind. Like, as I think an ethical hunter, I was like, should I get down and try to go shoot him?
Yeah.
Even across the fence, like to.
Yeah, you want to put him out of his misery.
Yeah, but then I'm like, well, that would be illegal. Like, you can't do that, right?
Well, I mean, unless they gave you permission to do it.
Which they didn't. I didn't have permission to do that,
Right.
So it's. The deer's on his side of the fence, and he's there, and I think he's going to die right in that spot from it. So I didn't do that. I'm like, well, I'll just stay here, and
yeah, I mean, nobody wants to see the deer die.
Yeah, right.
And knowing like the guy shot it, like he wants it.
Well, it is what it is. At this point, I'm observing. I'm gonna assist in the recovery however I can. Like, if they end up coming and tracking, and I see the deer still has his head up, I'm gonna stop him.
Yeah.
Or do something to like tip him off that the deer is dying right there.
Because I mean, the other option is like he comes by and you just let him keep walking on your property, and who knows where he goes, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, and who would do that?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if he's dead on his feet, you put him down to like put him down.
You put him down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what other option you have, or you don't. But like, what would even be the thinking with that? Like, oh, I don't want to shoot this guy's deer because he already shot it, even though it's on my property.
Yeah, I mean that.
I don't even understand the thought process.
I don't think anybody's ever said that.
I don't know. All I saw was a dead deer walking.
Yeah,
and I was like, he's on my property at this point. He needs another arrow.
Well, and I think this is the part that, like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this understand it. This is where the non-hunting or the anti-hunters even don't understand is like, we don't want to see that deer suffer.
Sure.
Like the fact that he's dying, and he will die. Like that hit was lethal. He's going to die. But I want him to die as fast as possible. Like, I don't want him to suffer. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I think people don't understand. It's like you want him to die a quick death. And so if he jumps the fence and you just let him walk off onto your property, like, you're just delaying the inevitable.
To me, that would be super unethical.
I think so. I would agree.
You're going to just let a wounded, mortally hit deer just, I
mean, we talk about that with anything. I mean, I've seen deer limping, that who knows when they were shot, maybe in September and it's December, right? And it's like, I still feel like I should shoot that deer.
Well, I had long accepted, and when I say long, I mean for at least the 15 minutes that I was watching this deer expire, I was like, he's done. This guy got him. That's a dead deer. If, and I've seen enough of them to like know if it's going to kill him or not. I mean, the deer's dying.
Yep.
The situation and the thought process is different if it's a non-lethal hit.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not a black and white decision, depending on where the hits are at.
Yeah, but I mean, if he came in with an arrow sticking out of his ass.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of situations where you can see like an animal is hit, but not mortally wounded.
Yeah. Of which, I assume you shoot to kill and tag.
100%. So at that point, I'm like, so I think I had already kind of processed that. I'm like,
if he comes over here.
No part of me thinks that I'm like still hunting this deer.
Right. But if he comes over here, I'm going to put him down.
Exactly. 100%. I'm full.
I'm sure as you're watching him lay there, like fading in and out. It's like, if he comes over here, I'm going to put him down.
Yeah, absolutely. Even to the point where I thought about going and shooting across the fence. And then I was like, well, that's not legal, so I can't do that. Yeah, I want him to be finished. And so so he comes across, I shoot him, he runs down, piles up. We need to watch the footage back again, but I either called you or Dad first.
You were talking to me.
I called Dad first then.
Yep.
Yeah. I said, hey, I called him. I said, hey, I said, basically the neighbor got an arrow in him. I saw it first. It was a lethal hit. I told him the story just like I told it to you more quickly. I said, yeah, he ended up coming across the fence after he bedded several times. I put another arrow in him and he's down on the property. I said, I assume the neighbor will call us. I'm going to have him come.
Yeah, because he's Amish. This isn't like we're texting.
I can't call him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I said, I'm going to tell him to come to the house, and we'll regroup, and we'll come recover him together. I said, that's his deer. I said it right on the phone call. We have it recorded. I said, that's his deer. So, he got it. So what happened was he's like, oh, this is how the conversation went. He's like, he goes, oh, you Jared. And I said, hey, what's going on, man? He goes, oh, he's like, sorry, are you in bed yet? And I'm like, no. I said, I'm in a tree stand. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, yeah, I just shot your buck. Oh my goodness, you're kidding me. And I'm like, yeah, dude. I was like, I thought I heard you shoot, and I proceeded to tell him what I saw. I'm like, I saw him bed a couple of times. I was like, it's definitely a lethal hit. In fact, I thought he was going to die on you guys there.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, he gets up and comes across the fence, and I put another one in him for you. He's like, oh my gosh, man. He's like, that's so crazy, and so I said,
I assume he didn't care like that you shot him again.
No, I don't think we discussed it.
Yeah. I mean, he was just happy it was dead. Yeah,
and whatever verbal cues I would give him, I was like, hey, dude, it's your...
I mean, most wouldn't care, right? Like, if I'm just trying to, like, even recollect in my... Like, if I shoot something, like, if we're hunting and shoot something, and it's like, he's going to die, but he's just, dead on his feet, essentially, and it walks by you, like, I'd expect you to shoot it and put it down.
Yeah,
I would think.
I don't know. I don't know how most people would feel about that. I've never really thought about it, honestly.
I would think, and again, maybe from a hunting ethical standpoint, like with other hunters, I don't know. There's weird dynamics there. From an animal ethical standpoint, the deer needs to die as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So like, if in my mind, even if the hunter's mad about it, like he was going to die, like why'd you have to shoot him again? I'm like, I owed it to the animal to put him down fast and not suffer. Right. And that's just my feeling on it. Like I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong there, but.
Well, I'm just assessing how I would feel about it. I'm like, yeah, of course, put another arrow in. I'm like, unless, and here's where the next part comes in. It's like, unless they're like, well, I shot him last, he's mine.
Which I have absolutely had, I can remember vividly in gun season here in Pennsylvania, shoot, my uncle shot one. I mean, great blood, definitely lethal hit. Ran right over the hill, like 100 yards, pow, guy shoots. We go down there, there's only one hole in the deer. Like, he missed, my uncle killed it, and that guy was like crazy to like, he's like, this is my deer, like I will fight you for this deer. And we're like, have at it, dude. Great. I'm like, it's yours, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a deer.
Well, so that's where it gets, that's where conflict can happen, I guess. And so, but I never gave him even a hint.
No.
And I never in my mind thought that I would do that.
And I think the only conflict would be there is like, let's just say you did want to keep it and tag it. Like you're like, it would be, I did it because it wasn't a lethal hit, them thinking it was a lethal hit.
Well, in the state of Ohio, if that deer jumped the fence, wounded or not, and I shot it, and I wanted to keep it, legally I could do so.
Yeah, and they can't even come over to look for it without your permission.
And that's why. Well, whether that's why or not, that's a big part of it. So, yeah, legally I could have claimed that animal.
But you already made the agreement. You said, hey, meet us at the house. We'll go and get this thing.
And even before that, I'd already decided. I'm like, the dude killed the deer.
It's dead.
No part of me thought like, oh, I got him.
Yeah, that's a weird feeling when you got, and I think I replied to some of the Instagram comments, and whether they agree or not, it was like, you're out there to defeat the deer. at its peak one on one. Like a mortally wounded animal dying, stumbling by you there's no success in that. And people might get mad about that, but like that's not.
It's a dead deer walking. You know, it's like just because I can get another arrow in him before he tips over and breathes his last breath, like that means he's mine.
Yeah. No.
So,
anyways,
that's what we do. We meet him at the house, and I'm really proud of how we handled this. I think with him, we just treated him how we would want to be treated.
Which is, I think, critically important as you build a relationship with that neighbor.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever. People have been patting me on the back they're like, you're a bigger man than I am and stuff. But I'm like, to me, it's black and white. I'm like, dude, you killed the deer. Like it was a lethal hit. There was no question about it. Yeah, I put one more arrow in it, but like.
That wasn't anything to do with him. It was
he might have not even gone as far if I had not shot him.
It was just to end his suffering. That's
it. So we loaded up the machines, Dad and I, and the neighbor and his wife who was hunting with him. First of all, my sister was there. We were having like our baby shower for the weekend and stuff. And so we do all that at the house, and then we load up and we head out and.
Did you see him or recover him?
Yeah.
Because he was down by the e-bike.
Yeah.
So you like walk down and he's like, 100%. There he is.
Yeah. So what I did was I got down because I didn't see him crash, but I was like, he's got to be right there. I got down, recovered my arrow. Same thing. Beast looked freaking, arrow was blood soaked.
Yep.
I just kind of was blood trailing down in that direction. And then I look up and there he is. He's laying right there by my e-bike. And I spent a couple minutes there with him, just got my time or whatever, and just checked him out, and he's exactly what I thought he was.
The first thing you said to me was like, young.
Yeah, well, which
just and not in a disrespectful way, but like just that he's got more in him.
100%. Yeah, and that's I hesitate to say it because I don't want to put the deer down or
because you were going to
the guy for shooting him. I was going to shoot him, knowing what he was, But you can't help but look at an animal like that and be like, he's got a lot more to go.
Would have been, and again, it's not to just. It was already of just a freak of a deer. How many 4-year-old bucks reach 180 plus %?
Yeah. Well, and here's where we're at as far as like the score. So like we had them figured, like I said, at like pushing 80. I was like maybe even low 80s, maybe, And so the neighbor had him professionally scored. I don't know what that means. If that's somebody in their community or somebody who's like a licensed, I don't know. And so they reported back to us that the score was 196 and change, like 5/8 or something like that. Truthfully, how I feel about that is like, I don't see it.
He's got a ton of points. He's got good beams. He's not that wide and he's not that heavy.
Yeah. So, hey man, if he's professionally scored at 196,
that's unbelievable.
That's what he is, But for me to look at him and just my mental math looking at him, I'm like, he's 180 all day, like right in that low 80s. But
because I guess I think about it even, and I'm not saying they can't do it, but like from a 140-inch 3-year-old to a 196-inch 5-year-old, that's an insane jump.
It's insane.
Like even a 180 is an insane jump, but a 196.
And we knew he was special last year. That's
sure.
Yeah,
he was built to score last year.
That's amazing. That they can do that. So we recovered him.
He tags him. He checks
He tags him. I don't remember at what point. Well before we were recovering him. Maybe it was at the house or whatever. It was even on the phone call because, like, even at the house, the only conversation was I high-fived him and congratulated him and stuff. And I had already implied to him or expressed to him that, like, hey man, that's your deer. You got him. I think I told him that straight up on the phone call.
Yep.
So we went out and recovered him. He tagged him. And gutted him right there, loaded him up into his side-by-side, and then we drove back the way we came in and sent him on his way, congratulated him again, said, just say, hey, man, I'm super happy for you. And it was genuine, I was like, dude, that's a once-in-a-lifetime deer, and I'm super stoked for you. And the decision to give it to him, for me, was not a hard one.
It seemed like you made it before the deer was dead.
Well before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, the deer's...
It's his.
It's his. So... That's been the point of, that's where we're at with it, And so he called me, couple nights ago, maybe last night. He called me last night, and we talked for half an hour, and it was super cool. He was like, hey man, he's like, honestly, I feel a little convicted, like a little guilty that I just bought this property and came in and shot this giant buck. And you guys have been working on it for so hard and for so long. And, it's just like, I feel whatever. It felt guilty is what he said, so, but however you want to translate that, I'm like, dude, you didn't do anything wrong. I was like, you did everything completely legal. It's like that, that's how it goes. And I was like, I'm super happy for you. I was like, there's nothing to feel bad about.
Yeah.
And he just, we had a cool moment where he was like, I just really respect how I handled that as far as giving him the deer and stuff. And I was like, yeah, dude, I respect you. Wanting to be on the same page with us from a management standpoint. I was like, that's gonna be huge for us. So
yeah, and I mean, it's not like you even you didn't give him any. Like he shot the deer, it was lethally dying. Yeah, it's just it comes down to the ethics of like putting a deer down or letting him suffer. And like I would hope that most hunters would lean on the fact of like put it down, like don't let it suffer.
Well, and the alternative was, and where I hope that he saw who I really am and like where my character is that I could have shot that deer walking and claimed it. And
for sure.
And said, yeah, I know you shot him, but I shot him last. That's mine.
He jumped my fence. He's on my property. Can't come over here. I killed him.
Would have been legal to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I don't think that would I know for a fact that would have been the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, it's also not how you want to kill that deer.
Not at all.
Again, he's mortally wounded. He didn't even know where he's
honestly,
at.
I had no interest in keeping him.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do with him? Just put him on my wall?
Again, difference being like if that deer came through with an arrow in his ass.
Yeah, different story.
Probably killed him and kept him.
Different story.
Because it's not a lethal hit.
Yeah. We still would have it would have been a more in-depth conversation at that point. I would have shared with him. I said, here's what it looked like. I said,
he wasn't dying.
Tell me what you think, but I don't think that's a lethal hit.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
And he would have agreed. And
what were you going to do? Let him walk and like.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, wild, man. That's.
You can't make it up, dude.
Yeah.
What are the chances that we would just decide to, have that strategy? I never would hunt on opening.
Well,
mornings.
that's why, when I talked to you and you were out, I was just like, I was confused. Everything about it was confusing.
Oh, you didn't even know I was going in the morning?
Huh.
Oh.
Because I got back late from Kentucky.
No, you knew, because I sent you the picture from the day before, and I was like, I think I got to try him tomorrow morning.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know if you were actually going to go, because you never hunt mornings.
I did it. I sat in the dark for an hour and a half.
Well, obviously, I didn't know that there was this whole, I'm going to get in here before he does in case he bumps, and I didn't know any of that strategy.
Yeah. In hindsight, freaking pretty good strategy.
It didn't end there, though.
Well, no, I mean, it did with that deer. That's where we're at as of today with that deer. So we have a great new neighbor who shot a giant buck, and and we're happy for him, and that's awesome.
The story of temptation is over.
Temptation, story closed.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Beast Broadheads.
Dude, Beast Broadheads. Man, we've been advocating for and shooting expandable, especially big expandable broadheads for years and years now. And it just seems like they just keep making them better and better. And ultimately, with the relationship we've forged with the Bowmars this past year, we're just super excited to be shooting the Beast Broadheads this year.
I mean, this broadhead it's the world's sharpest expandable broadhead out there. It has best penetration, and it's got bone-avoiding technology. Ultimately, we want to create the most trauma possible on a deer when we release an arrow. The Beast Broadhead does that for us every time.
So right now you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for a discount on anything on the Beast website. So definitely go check out beastbroadheads.com. We hope. we think. I think that's the end of it. So that night we regroup.
Yep.
And make a plan. Dale and Brian came in for the first true, okay, here we go, because normally we're just hunting evening.
Yep.
So we make a plan for that night, and I've just got a good feeling about one of these stands, and I'm like, GR8's been pretty consistent. He's like a low to mid-40s, 6-year-old buck. I've got a couple of sheds off him and stuff. And it just ends up that Dale and I are going to go together. How did
that come about, I guess? Because it's really... Was it partially of how the morning went?
No.
Just because it's opening evening.
Well, that ruled out temptation as far as, play. Not that I had an afternoon play, Frank. I didn't know where I was.
I mean, GR8 would have been one. Flyer really wasn't visible at that point.
Nope.
And then that other 4-year-old.
The night before, so Friday night, I saw a big 9-point. There's a 6-year-old 9-point. I don't have a name for him. Curly, I guess is what we're calling him. Sprout signs kind of go, I guess. And at 40s as well, you know, wider a little bit than GR8. We get a lot of them deer. GR8 Flyer and that curly buck, they all are very similar. Flyer's 5, the other 2 are 6.
Yep.
So I saw that curly buck out in the bean field. I watched what he did. Unfortunately, I didn't really think there was a play for him.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know, he's just getting up out of a bean field. I'm sorry, he's getting up out of a clear cut, essentially. And he's like staging, I'm sure for a little bit in there, and then he'll stage just out into a low spot in the bean field where nobody can see him. But his end destination, I think, is an alfalfa field across the road. And so what he does, what I watched him do, is he gets up and he walks out through the bean field. You can see him there. And then he beds down in the ditch in the bean field. And he waits till it's after dark. And then he goes and crosses the road into the alfalfa field. So I said, hey, the only play, if there is one for this deer, is a guy can either go hang in this little wood lot right on the road. And if he gets there, it's going to be last light. I don't think it's worth, I don't think there's a play to get in there and try to hang on the edge of the clear cut. It's just, there's too many deer in there.
Yeah.
It's not a big clear cut.
No.
It's just, it's too aggressive.
Yep.
I just don't, and he might walk past 1 or 2 trees. Who knows? You know, he might be like 15 yards from the edge of it.
Sure.
I don't know. So basically the way it fell was we said, Brian was going to go there. Brian's like, I'll try that. I'll hang in a tree close to the road. Yep. Cool. I think Dale was like, you know, whatever. Somebody's got to say it. And he's like, what do you think? What do you think? You and I go together. You know, maybe you go try that. Because we were coming off of that this morning thing here. I was kind of like, I don't have to hunt. You know, I mean, that this morning was an interesting, you know, enough excitement.
There was enough excitement.
And then Dad was going to go to come get me because it was an east wind, and I was like, hey, a good observation to sit on that bean field there. You know, worth trying. So Dale and I, whatever. He's like, so who's shooting? You know, and it's just like we have the fun deer camp back and forth. And so we rock, paper, scissors. Do you know that generation doesn't know rock, paper, scissors?
No.
Doesn't know rock, paper, scissors.
Really?
I teach him rock, paper, scissors.
Oh my God.
Brian too. I was like, what do you guys mean? They're like in their early 60s.
What the hell did they do? Flip a coin?
They drew straws.
Oh, Jesus. What is this, World War II?
You know what they did? They did the baseball hand stacking.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they did. Yeah. But you get that one's all strategy. You can time that one.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of strategy to
to rock, paper, scissors.
As well. But
we saw that at the road show.
So what did we do? We were tied 2 for 2 and 2 on rock, paper, scissors.
Your dad's like, it's 6:30. We should probably get on this stand.
we were plenty early, and he changed the rules at the very end. He's like, I don't know about this. It doesn't seem fair or whatever. So we ended up drawing straws, and he was.
Oh, you had to draw straws at the end.
It was super laid back. I mean, we were like, I told him multiple. I was like, dude, I don't care. You hunt, I'll film. You know, and he's like, no, it's got to be fair.
We got to do it right.
We're gonna draw these straws. You know,
don't jinx it.
So we draw the straws, and I didn't even get to draw one. Like Dad drew for him the short one, and so he's like, I guess you know. So they'll end up being Hunter. That's how it went. That's generally how it goes. So there's something going on there, but I was happy with it. So we go out, and we're supposed to have an east wind, like 2-3 miles an hour, but you know what they say about east winds type of thing. Yep. So we're on a gas line essentially is how we access this thing. And I've got a couple stands on the gas line, one on the south end, one on the north end, one right in the middle. The one I felt the strongest about, because I've seen GR8 in October on this gas line before. I just know where he's at, is the middle stand. Especially with an east wind, I was like, that's about the only wind you can really safely hunt that other than in the rut. You know, you just kind of get in there.
Just get in there.
So that was our plan. So we go in, we walk up, and I mean, you're getting into it pretty close. I mean, dude, hunting this farm is like fly fishing small pocket of trout. You know what I mean? It's like,
because they're there. They're right on.
They're right in there. You know, you can only get in so far. You can get to the edge, and so we get up pretty close to the southernmost stand, and I feel the wind. Like, honestly, it maybe just was thermals. I think I just felt thermals pulling out of the west. I think there was no wind, and I'm like,
makes sense on a east.
Yeah, and they're going to fall into a ditch down to the east, right? And so I'm like, man, if that happens even one time when we're in that middle stand, I was like, it's going to blow out onto that knob where I think they're at. I said, so Dale and I made a decision to just jump in the southernmost stand and bank on very little wind and thermals pulling down there, which I'm getting better at. I'm thinking I'm understanding that a little better. So we get in that stand, I don't know, half hour later, 5 o'clock, you know, we look up the gas line and there he is. You know, just right out in the middle, 25 yards from that middle stand, eating acorns. There's another doe up there. And for whatever reason, I was like, at this point, nothing could faze me. You know, Dale's getting all worked up. He's like, there he is. You know, I'm like, yep, there he is. Like, I expected to see him. You know what I mean? I expected to see him. You know? And so I'm like, yeah, he's just up there milling around. And the last time I saw him was from that stand, and he just ran right down that saddle, right past that middle stand. And I'm like, good chance he's going to do that. You know, he's just going to eat acorns there, and he's going to run and do that. Yep. He's browsing around for, 10 minutes, whatever, 15 minutes, and he's kind of working towards us a little bit, and he's, at this point, he's past the doe. He's closer to us than the doe is, and just kind of almost in slow motion. He's like maybe when we first saw him originally, he's 60 yards, and then after 10 minutes of browsing, he's at 50 yards, and then he's kind of like walking a little bit now. He's like 40 yards. Yeah. He gets to about like, maybe 35 yards, but still, like, just because the way the trees are in a gas line, there's no shot. He's just walking at us. He's walking right down the gas line. We're 5 yards off the gas line.
Which tends to be like he does that a lot.
Yeah. I know what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, so somebody's like shooting in a muzzleloader or something. The first one goes off and he stops like right next to this gas line meter or whatever, stops for a minute. I mean, it's not going to do anything. It was a ways off, but he hears that. He holds up for a minute.
He's like, muzzleloader season already?
Yeah. And then he starts walking again. And at that point, I'm like, he's committed to this trail. He's coming right down us here. There's, you know how there's like just foliage there. I'm like, he's not going to just barrel through that stuff. He's coming right here.
Yep.
And so Dale and I'm filming like this. I'm on the front side of the tree, and I see Dale like look up at me, and I'm like, it's on.
We just like Donkey Kong. Here we go.
We just had that moment where we're like, it's on. Yeah. And here he comes, 35 yards, 30 yards, 25 yards. And he's just walking directly at us. At the closest, maybe he was like, 10, 15 yards. And then he gets behind a tree. And this is where Dale and I were like trying to figure out what happened. He draws pretty quick with his head behind the tree. But he's not standing behind the tree. He's walking. So it's a quick draw. And as soon as he does that, he gets settled, the deer is like starts angling away a little bit, and then kind of starts to like trot or like. I truly don't know if he sensed something, or if he just purely was like, how when they get bugs on them, they just kind of give a little
shake them out,
a little trot type thing, and I don't know. But at the last minute, it sped up, and he angled up away a little bit, and Dale read it perfectly and stopped him, gave him a meh. And it's funny to listen back to it. He gave him a solid just meh, and I gave him a meh.
Yeah, just a short and sweet.
Like, I don't know, like we were just instincts, kicking. And the second after we both do that, his phone is set on his phone notification is.
Oh, I think I heard that in the video.
So you hear it. It's going. Meh.
I think I heard that.
Okay, and as he's drawing, so before we stop him, I say, take your time, as he gets drawn, and you can hear I say it verbally, take your time.
What's he using, pins?
I don't know what he's got. I'm not sure.
He put his 10-yard pin on him.
He's shooting a new Hoyt. What is it? Alpha.
Oh, he's shooting the AX2.
The AX2.
Oh,
that's what he's shooting.
Good bow.
Yeah. He's still on the Severs, though, which maybe ties into how this...
Okay.
Maybe not, but... So, stops him. I've said, hey, take your time. And he does. Yeah. A whole second or two passes before he takes this shot. He's 20 yards at this point. And he shoots, and we both see it. It's low. Super low. And we're just like...
Good left and right.
Perfect left and right. If anything, an inch forward, but left leg's forward, right leg's here. Super low. So I just hold right on. I have this footage perfectly. He just runs off. He mule kicks first of all.
Okay.
And we hear it. Thwack.
Yep. Pops cat.
Mule kicks.
Yep.
Runs up into the woods a little bit. And we know it's low.
Yeah.
And so I'm just watching him and his reaction. He looks back, tail down, not flickering.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks back and he's like, what was that? And then just kind of walks off again, not like a gut hit lumping off, just walking, just walks off. And then
which makes sense for like a low heart hit or something.
Then he'd look back and he never knew we were there. He had no idea what happened. He just knew something hurt and was loud. And what was that?
Yeah.
And so I film him for 2-3 minutes after that. And he just works out. And eventually, we see him work down a ridge and just kind of lose sight of him. And at one point mid of that footage, I'm like, I definitely see an exit wound. I definitely see he's bleeding. And
we talked. It was just running out, not pumping, because it's probably cut
I don't know.
low.
I just see a wound and I see blood.
Yeah,
that's all I can see. Which for a hit dude, if you see blood coming out, a lot of times if it's visible, you're like, hey, that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's good.
And never flagged one time. You know, he
didn't like it.
He just left. And so we're I don't know. We decompress a little bit in the stand, and he says moments after the shot, he's like, was it low? And I'm like, yeah, it was low. And then we just watch it, and he's quiet the whole time. We're just watching, just trying to see. And so then we decompress, and I'm like, he's like, I was super low, right? And I'm like, yeah, I think it was super low. I was like, I'm pretty sure I could see exit wound though on the other side. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I saw blood coming out for sure. I was like, and I got all the footage here, so we'll rewatch it. And so maybe because I wasn't the shooter, but I was totally collected.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, probably.
And he was shook up.
Oh yeah.
And he hasn't missed a deer in frickin' 27 years. He's got everyone he shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He knows how to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was surprising.
Yeah.
For both of us.
Yeah.
We're like, what happened? And he's like, he's like, I don't know. I didn't rush it.
Did it ever did he reflect on it?
Yeah.
Did he ever?
Yeah. In hindsight, I think it was just in the moment. His sight picture wasn't right. I think he just aimed at the wrong spot.
Maybe that little bit of trot and then having to.
Oh, definitely sped things up a little bit. But after he stopped him, he took his time. There was a full second or two, before the arrow went off, just longer than I usually give him.
Yeah.
And
one
thing that didn't help was that deer didn't drop an inch.
Right, he was stoned.
Had he dropped even 2 inches,
heart,
probably a different story, But so we get down pretty quickly.
Yep.
I had a custom gear I was hanging on. He was out of a pre-hung.
Mm-hmm.
So we pull our stuff, walk up and get the arrow. I filmed him getting the arrow. Arrow looks bad. It's just grease all the way up. Full pass through. Lighted knock went off. Little bit of blood on the fletchings, little bit of just traces of blood you can see. Ugh. We're like, well, that doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good.
But
you saw blood though coming out.
Saw blood coming out. So I'm like, he's bleeding. So I take the first 5 or 10 yards of the blood trail, and I don't see any blood right on impact. So I'm like, okay, nothing there. So I said, let's just get out. And so we walked out a different way, just tried to really avoid the area we thought he might have gone to and stuff. Had my brother-in-law pick us up, blew out all kind of deer, just because we don't walk that generally. But get everybody back. And later, so real quick, Brian calls us so we're back well before dark. It was 6 o'clock.
Just got out.
6:30. He calls us and is like, hey, he's like, can you come pick me up at the road here? He's like, I didn't want to, booger or anything type of a deal. He's like, I haven't seen any deer yet.
Yeah.
So I just figured I'd get down early.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Yeah. Okay. And so Dale and I get in the machine. I take my binos, drive right up to the corner, throw my binos up. I'm like, there he is. He's right in the bean field. Here's all these does. They're all working right down this ditch to him, just like they did the night before. And I'm like, whatever. Rip down, and I pick him up off the road. It was pretty funny. I'm like, yeah, he's right there. He's up in the ditch right there. And he's like, you're kidding me. I'm like, who knows if he would have got there? Because he didn't the night before.
And which buck was that?
Curly.
That was Curly, the 9-point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
there he is.
So we pick him up, Then I run and pick Dad up at the other spot,
Yep.
And all of us are watching the footage that night. My brother-in-law is there. My dad's other buddy is because of the
baby shower.
So we're all watching this footage. We're all analyzing it here. We're looking at this exit wound, and it was a good time. Like Dale's like just beside himself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's never a good feeling.
Yeah. And so we make a decision like, hey, it's definitely an overnight thing here, but like we'll just have to see in the morning. So nice and cool overnight, it's good conditions. So we go back out in the morning. It's 5 of us: Dad, Dale, Brian, Dale, and Jay is my dad's other buddy. And we just drive right to the aerial, and I'm like, hey, we'll just cruise in here like we normally just
let's look for blood,
play cool.
Yep.
And we started on the blood trail, and dude, my dad is a machine at finding blood. So I don't even try. I'm like, there it is. What I did is I watched the video, and I'm like, I think he went left of that tree. I think he went right of this tree, and he's like, yep, here it is.
Just imagine your dad and I on a blood trail for his deer in Kansas was like, it was intense. Like that deer didn't stand a chance if it actually died.
Yeah, 100%. You guys are on it. So we blood trail him we get on good blood, pretty good blood,
which is encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was like, that's looking good. I'm like, I keep expecting him to be laying down in this bottom. So we get we follow that blood over the course of like 2 hours, like 300 yards, maybe an hour and a half. I don't know.
It's a long ways though, because we talked about the one that I shot low in the vertex of the heart, and I think he went 250-ish, and he was dead wherever I found him, and I didn't find any beds before then.
Yeah.
But he just kind of kept going, and then dead.
Yeah. So we made it about 300 yards, and we ran out of like room to go. We ran out of blood.
He went into that like CRP pine stuff, which was hard to find blood.
Yeah. And he was like ducking beneath pines and stuff, and we tracked him all the way to a field edge, and I'm like, it's a standing bean field, not like super tall beans either. It's just like, hey, I don't know where he would go from here.
Yeah, that's a tough trail.
So we decided to back out. I call Madison, Raber, and
is this your first experience with drone finding?
Yep. So I said, hey, let's get a drone in here.
Yep.
And
good call.
Madison comes out 45 minutes later. I got to send him some footage anyways. You guys can watch some of this stuff on Madison's channel. He's going to put it out at some point. We may too. I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but Madison gets out there in 45 minutes to an hour, and we just go out to a nearby location where we can launch the drone from, type of thing. Throw it up, and we find this thing in like 10 minutes.
So is it, when he gets out there, is it morning or is it afternoon?
It's broad daylight in the morning.
Which is tough to use those thermal drones, especially with how much canopy cover and stuff we have.
Yeah, so a lot of his initial questions before he even came out was like, what does it look like out there? And fortunately, I'm like, well, we're out in these ditches next to an ag field. I'm like, there's a pretty decent chance he's like out in the open, not in timber. And I knew the deer really well too, so I was like, "There's a pretty good chance he's going to go up into this clear cut over here." Even though that was far, I was like, "He's either dead here, or if not, I was like, I that's where I would look." And he starts where we lost blood, and we're just not seeing anything really. So he just flies right to where I'm like, I have found some sheds, and I'm like, I think he just beds right in here. And a couple minutes of picking that clear cut apart because stumps and stuff are showing a heat signature. It's not ideal conditions, but like I said, like about 10 minutes, we find him, and he's laying right in the clear cut where it meets the timber in a low spot under a big pokeberry bush, and kick it to like video mode, where you can see it. We can see him perfectly. He's totally alive. I can see a gash on his right leg. And
so that would have been the exit.
Yeah.
So like, because it did look in that video like it came down and hit his leg and deflected.
Yeah, the arrow did something weird, after. But yep, so could see that gash in his leg, but he wasn't limping at all. So it wasn't a broken leg. Obviously, not a femoral artery in the leg. But you could see that, and obviously it went through him too. I mean, we had that grease, So the question is, do you catch something vital? Is it all brisket? Which I think we're leaning towards at this point. Madison was really confident. He's like, that's not a lethal hit.
Yeah, he's seen a bunch of them.
He's seen a lot of them. I'm like, you don't think so? And he's like, no. He's like, I've seen quite a few deer hit like this. They'll bleed really good, and then they'll be chasing does like 3 weeks
so whether
later.
you hit the artery in the leg that generated, because was the blood you guys were seeing, I guess it was the next morning, but was it red or was it dark?
Dark.
So see, that would have me leaning more towards that being heart blood.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had plenty of people cut that vertex of the heart, that bottom, and like that deer lives.
I don't know, man. Madison's opinion was he's like, I don't, what the blood looks like to me does not matter at all. Like he showed us a picture of this like big puddle of bright red bubbly blood. He's like, what do you think that is? And my dad's like, I mean, lungs, obviously. And he's like, nope, straight backstrap.
Wow. That's crazy.
So I
mean, that's awesome information to have from those guys because I mean, we don't know.
From the blood trail alone, initially I was feeling pretty confident. I was like, we're going to come up on him here pretty quick. But then it started petering out, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, where So, and without a drone, it's like, what do? The dog is the next level down probably, and you start like gridding.
Yep.
Or, well, not gridding, but
I mean, I 100% believe where legal, when you can use it, that's what a thermal drone is meant for.
Highly effective. I mean,
highly effective. Yeah. I mean, you don't push that deer. He's there. You get as good of a view you're going to get from him. You can evaluate last blood to there and how far he went. Like, there's a lot of things that, and I'm no knock on a dog side of things, but it's just, especially for those hits that are questionable as being lethal. Like, a dog going out and running a deer is not going to help you. Like, finding it and bumping it, and like, you're never going to know exactly where you hit. You just keep pushing. Yeah. Eventually you lose property lines and stuff.
Well, there's no arguing. Like, it's way more effective.
Absolutely.
Like, as far as finding them.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. And the ability to see, like, look really closely at his wounds, how he's acting and stuff. I was like, we surgically went in and made a really, I think good assessment. And we didn't have to, didn't have to like step foot on the property, which, on one hand, I'm like, well, you should have to do the work and stuff. But on the other hand, I'm like, you don't want to like blow out a property.
No. And I mean, at this point, if it's not lethal, like, that deer needs rest to recuperate. Like, you don't want to be running them, halfway across the county
and blowing every other deer out in the process. So it was absolutely the right thing to do. And
that's cool that you got to see it in progress.
We found him. We can't guarantee it's a non-lethal hit. It's just, we watched him for another 10, 15 minutes and just, observed him. And
at that point,
doing.
though, I mean, it's 12 plus hours later, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like 18 hours later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe he gets infections and all that, but I wouldn't call that a lethal hit. It
was like 9:30 the following morning, so it was like 14 hours later.
Yeah, so I mean, if he would die in the winter from gangrene, it's because of the shot, but that's not a lethal hit.
Well, it's not lethal enough to do anything about.
Yeah, correct.
So...
Well, there's your case in point of like, okay, there he is, he's still alive. Do we go kill him? Right? Like, that's the ethical, legal, moral compass. And you guys were just like, nope, it's not lethal. He's wounded, but like...
Never even crossed our mind. Nobody hunted that property that night,
And which I think is the right way to do it.
Truthfully, I doubt he would get out of that bed before dark. And if he does, he's not going far.
Yeah.
He's going to probably stay in a really small area.
But that is the situation that those drones get caught into question, is like, you see the deer, he's not mortally wounded, but he is wounded. You now have a location. I'm sure there's plenty of people that would hunt deer like that. And I don't.
They are, and they do. Even Madison was telling me, I mean, like.
Because he leaves. Like, once he packs up and leaves, he's like, I don't know. They know the law.
Well, guess what? So I asked him first. I said, hey, Madison, what is the law around flying a drone and then hunting in Ohio? As long as the drone's not in the air, you're legal.
Oh, wow. Because there's certain ones where, like, once they do that, like, it's, like, once you locate it, it's not legal, from what I understand.
In Ohio, from Madison, so, I mean, neither of us are attorneys, but, I mean,
so if it's down,
he's accountable for looking into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he can go out and fly that drone, bring it back, and land it and say, you're good to go get him.
Wow. I'm sure a lot of people do that.
100%.
In fact, I didn't see any, not to jump back, but like a lot of people the week before I got there were telling me that they had drones flying all over them for guides looking for elk out there. They would go and locate elk with it, fly it back, and take their client in.
Wow.
It's a problem.
Unreal.
It's a major problem, because that would be a pretty effective way, even though those autumn olives are thick, like there's pockets, so those elk are going to be laying in those openings.
Dude, after seeing how those drones work, I was like, it just lifts the skirt up. You just go find them all real quick and then be like, yeah, I think I'll hunt here tonight.
And people are doing it. And that's why people
100%.
get pissed off about the abuse. But there is, going back to it being used like you used it, there is a huge value to that.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I know. Half the people listening to this will be like, you know, we hate them. They should never be, you know, legal anywhere. The other half, you know, yeah, I get it for recovery. It makes a lot of sense. And then there's the outliers who are just, bandits who will just use it to every advantage possible.
Well, Madison was like, hey, I make money from this, but I wish it was illegal because there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Custom Gear.
Man, those Lone Wolf stands have become such a cornerstone of our equipment over, recently, but I mean, also we've been using these stands for a long time, even the original Lone Wolves. They're all built right here in the United States. The lines just keep getting better and better. Cody and Andre and the whole team just keep innovating and introducing new stuff into the line this year. And they've got some new things coming this year.
Yeah, so this year we've got the Patriot Series, which, a lot of people are talking about this as being the cheaper, just fixed position side of things. But let's be honest, they can be mobile too, right? They weigh 12 pounds. But they're built from a value standpoint. So for guys like us who want to have 3, 4, 5 preset stands out there for certain wins, we can put this Patriot Series out there, have them ready. Nothing better than slipping up into one of these fixed position stands that's already set on the right wind.
No doubt. And so this year, as of right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR. It's a one-time use promo code. Gets you 10% off anything on the Lone Wolf Custom Gear website. That's any of the custom gear stuff, any of the Patriot Series. So whether you're planning on getting into one for the first time or you want to stack a big order here before the season, code HUNTR will get you 10% off.
Hunt like a wolf. And that's how the weekend ended, huh?
That's how it went.
Holy jeez, dude. What a 6-7 day period there.
Yeah. Pretty wild. And then I saw a shooter the next night on one of Jed's properties.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Which one did you see?
He's like a 5-year-old 10-point.
Yeah.
He was the only deer that didn't walk the trail, which I know that's what they do,
That's
but
what
like
they do.
It should have been reversed. All the other deer should have just like meandered through the field like he did, and he should have come in this back door up this ditch. I had a super clean hang, like with the custom gear, went in. I've been in this tree before, just got in there nice. And frankly, I was dealing with some issues with my wife, and I were like, she was like fixing to run out of mix again, which has been like an issue.
Because you're teetering toward the end of the
towards
season.
the end of the season, and she keeps expecting it to like ramp down, and like it's not, which is a good problem. But so I was on the phone with her for half an hour, and with other ice cream shops trying to like solve this mix issue. So for anybody that thinks like, oh, it must be nice, you just sit out there. I was like, hey, at one point I was like getting ready to get down and just get to my truck and drive straight home and just say forget the hunt tonight. But it was probably 6 o'clock, 6:30. I look up, there he is, standing up there in the bean field. I thought pretty seriously about making a play to get down and work down around and pop back up. I could have maybe got to him.
Circled around him and let him feed into you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And who knows, it might have worked, but there were other deer in there. Yeah. And it was early enough.
Yeah, he could have easily ducked down there and exited.
I was in the spot that I was like, if they booger, they're coming here. And so I was really on the fence about it. I ended up staying, and it didn't work out. But I was 3 for 3 for mature buck encounters.
That's crazy. And Brian saw one or had one there. Didn't see.
He didn't see him, but I saw him.
Yeah. So I mean, just all of that stuff being like happening right there, like that's wild.
Dad did have a 3 or 4-year-old 9-point at that come get me too that night. So, and He hunted in the old stand where it's at, and I said,
Yep.
I don't like where it's at. You should hang in this stand. He's like, if I was in that stand, I'd have been 10 yards, 15 yards.
Right on top of him.
But he wasn't going to shoot him anyways.
Yeah.
It was a, younger deer, but
It's crazy, man. It happens fast. And like all in all, like the weather wasn't that great either. It's pretty warm.
no, it was epic.
Was it?
Well, it was hot, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude. What did it for us this past weekend
It
was
was east winds too.
which positive,
Yeah.
negative, whatever. What did it for us this weekend was you had that long extended rain,
Yep.
and
then
it
it
just
finally broke.
it suppresses them, they just
Yeah.
it rained a lot.
I know.
And my food plots,
Thank God.
let's touch on that in a minute here, look
Yeah.
amazing. So when it broke, the next 2-3 days of movement was opening day.
Yep. And
of
it was
opening
cranking.
weekend, and it was cranking.
Mhm.
I saw shooters on every set.
Yep. That's what they'll do. I mean, I've seen my scrapes light up too
100%.
since we got that rain.
100%. That's exactly what Temptation did. That, dude, we're figuring them out.
Yep.
It's like, and that farm especially, I'm figuring out how to kill them there.
Yep.
So it's pretty fun. But while we were tracking Dad's buck that morning, I walk up into one of my food plots and I'm like, this
Yep.
looks amazing.
Exploded.
I planted it last Sunday. I took Sturgis's
Yep.
advice. Well, so I took Sturgis's advice, but before that, I'd already put 250 pounds of rye down
Yeah.
that, as far as I could tell, didn't even germinate.
Yep.
I was like, it's just sitting there.
Yep.
It never rained.
Yep.
So
You said it was like concrete too, right?
Yeah, nothing. There was nothing in these plots, nothing
Yep.
worth saving. So last Sunday, so Sunday before season, Dad and I decided to lightly turn the soil.
Yep.
And so that meant maybe risking some of that rye seed.
Sure.
I didn't know what it would do.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, let's just lightly work everything. And I'll put I put 25 pounds of buckwheat down.
Yep. And
per
tillage
acre.
radish.
And 5 pounds per acre of tillage radish. They call it a groundhog radish, I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
I don't know.
Punxsutawney
Assume
Phil.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
And that, dude, in a week, they look amazing. My rye is like
So did you put any
2.5
more rye
inches
down,
tall.
or is that that was the rye that was
all
in the
that
soil?
rye was in the soil.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I can see a ton of other. I don't know what buckwheat looks like exactly, but
It looks like a like a little broadleaf coming up.
so I can't distinguish it from the tillage radish.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that coming up too. It's
Yep.
all right here.
Yep.
So give it another couple weeks.
I think we're gonna get another one on Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
I know, that's why I'm trying to reschedule.
Yeah.
Pedro.
Yep. So yeah, man, that's awesome. It definitely. I saw like all my clover plots just like.
I know. It's
just, like,
amazing how they
immediately,
I thought it.
pop back.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that's what it took. I mean, I got 4 inches in Ohio in 3 days or whatever. It was wild.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's the first week of real hunting.
It's been something. Well, and you know what, dude? We had such an awesome. I've had such a great deer season so far. Like on 2 different occasions. The first was in North Dakota. Well, I'm going to speak about specific evenings. Like, and neither of them I was in a deer stand.
Yeah.
The one was, when we just sat in a boat on a river that night. And I was like, and you can just appreciate like the camaraderie that deer season should be. That was the first one. And then the day, like, so after Madison left, Dad and a bunch of other people, they went to Ant Cities and they were swimming during the day. And Dale and Brian and I sat in a porch and drank beers. Yeah. And had some pretty spiritual, you know what I mean? Just like a lot happened there.
A lot happened.
And so that'll bond you. And we just had a cool afternoon there. So
it's a good way to, I mean, it'd been great if you guys killed Temptation. It'd been great if Dale recovered that buck, but it's still, a good start to the season.
I would have liked for him to get that deer in the evening. I don't think I would change how the Temptation thing, went down.
Well, I think we kind of knew that it was a stretch, in terms of where that deer was living. And per everything it sounds like is you guys will get another shot at GR8. That deer will make it and he'll be right back to doing what he used to do.
I can say, I think with some fair degree of confidence after holding that, I mean, if that deer is 196 inches, freaking awesome. It's not, I did it because I did it last year. When I walked up on that Iowa buck, it's like, holy cow, that thing is a giant.
Absolutely.
That's literally what I said. I'm like, that's a monster.
Yeah.
And it has everything to do with just knowing it's a mature animal.
Yep.
And physically what they look like. And obviously antlers are a part of that too.
Sure.
When I held that Temptation deer, and it's not at all to take anything away, because again, I would have shot this deer.
Yep.
he wasn't that.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, there's a lot of inches of antler on that thing's head, but I didn't feel like that's a monster buck.
Right.
But even though he's scored, that's the highest scoring deer, you know, that I've ever shot, technically.
Yeah, but he won't be, he just doesn't have that mature fact, which is what makes mature bucks cool. It's like you could go, a GR8 being a great example, you can kill a 6-year-old 140-inch deer and be like, this is a big buck.
Yeah.
And his antlers are nothing close to Temptations, but like the deer encompassing is like, this is a big buck.
So in a way, I feel like it was almost easier for me to let that deer go, knowing that I would get to keep hunting.
Sure.
And you know, I have some other mature animals that I'm really, they won't score as good. But
I mean, I think that's the chase ultimately, is like you want to compete against a mature deer, and like
that's the game.
That's the chase. That's the addiction for it. So
that GR8 looked pretty good on the hoof.
He did, man. When I saw that video, I'm like, I shot the shit out of that thing.
100%.
Big old pot belly brewing on him. 100%. I was like, I would have shot the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we appreciate everybody listening. Episode 275, I think is what it was.
Sounds right.
275. A lot of stuff happening in the first couple weeks here of hunting and getting after it. We got a long season ahead of us. We got a cold front coming up here in a week, which will be interesting to see. And we appreciate everybody listening, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Later.
Take me